Yo, 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 what's the deal, my people? What's going on? It's your boy Jason Gooner, and we're back in the studio, people. You know what time it is? It's Reasoning Time, episode 3. Today, we're going to be focused on all things Reggae Boyz, people. The first thing we're going to talk about is the TNT friendlies have been confirmed for February the 6th and February the 9th. We know that this time frame is not an international window, so we won't be able to see the likes of our players in the EPL, Turkish league, various leagues around the world, Saudi league, players everywhere around the world that represent the Reggae Boyz. So it's going to be mainly a makeup of the local players in the JPL. So what we're going to do today is talk about the players that are applying their trade in the JPL, try to come up with a squad. Presuming it's going to be 23 players, so we're going to try to pick 3 goalkeepers, 8 defenders, 6 midfielders and 6 forwards, right, people? Just pick a squad out of the JPL. So we're going to take the first half of the show doing that. The second half of the show, we're going to talk about all things Reggae Boyz, those plying their trade outside of Jamaica. Most of the squad makeup, as you know, would play outside of Jamaica. So we're going to check in with those players, see how the form is going, see the movements of certain players that we know have made moves, secured moves that should work in the favor of the Reggae Boyz, get them more playing time. So we're going to discuss all those things in this about 2-hour show. All right, people. So first thing you have to do for me, as you see, my brethren Juras in the chat letting you know, like and share the content. Like and share the content. Juras says, tired of playing TNT. Well, look, I would like to think it's I know that there was some kind of partnership formed in the last year or two with Trinidad on numerous different things. I know the coaching is one. I know I've realized that a lot of the youth teams as well have been playing Trinidad in friendlies. So I would like to think that there's some kind of agreement that has been worked out that makes it easier for them to play Trinidad in these I guess you'd say outside of FIFA windows. I think they must have something worked out, because I would like to think anything that the JFF is doing right now would be with the budget in mind, trying to, tighten the belt as much as possible. So I would like to think that the JFF have some kind of agreement with Trinidad. I don't know that to be fact, but I would just like to think the fact that we keep playing them in these windows, I think there must be something that's going on behind the scenes between the two member associations. Yeah, that would be my thoughts on it still. Active. Big up Crazy Yardy. London is red, say Mass Sports. That is it. Yes, we did the watch along yesterday. Thanks to those who tune in. We don't normally get to do watch alongs for the Premier League because, the way man's life set up. When those games are, I'm kind of busy. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, midweek, sometimes I can get to do the game. So I got to do one yesterday. And thank the Lord, we got the victory over Tottenham. Big up Arsenal for that. Maple Boys, the Kings of CONCACAF now, Bambito getting massive praises in League One and has highest speed stats for ballers around the whole world. What a CB from MLS, Cranky. Yo, well, Bambito, we had Cranky in-house. Could I get him at Arsenal, but we don't really need CBs right now. Still, we need some striker. Yeah, Arsenal could have had, exactly. Big up Reggae Boyz. Yeah, man, big up yourself, Mas. Canadian in the building. TNT JFF would need and really want Canada World Cup. Yes, absolutely. Both nations need and want it. Bless up float. Wagwan. I'm tired of Havertz now. Yeah, Havertz are going like an idiot. Spuds 13th. Yeah. So big up people, everybody tuning in, and know that Jason gonna bring you that EPL content. Tonight we're gonna be doing the review show. We're just waiting for the last few games to be played today. And we're gonna have the review show tonight. Thumbnail already made. Before the show is over, I will drop that in the comment section. Those of you who are here to witness the Jamaica content, the Reggae Boyz content, you know that Jason Guna does cover the EPL as well. So, if you like how I bring the news to you in the Reggae Boyz news, you surely will like how I break down the EPL. We have every week we have the standings and predictions. Very, very nice, good banter with the comment section. And Donkey of the Week is where you don't want to be when you're the worst of the pick bunch, right? So, yeah, man, tune into those shows as well. Very, very informative, very entertaining, engaging, interactive. Yeah, man, very fun. So everybody that's here in the comment section that know that you can be a testament to that in the comment section. But yeah, let's get right into it, people. We're going to go to the Jamaica Premier League website. So I've had my issues with them in terms of the app. Sometimes the information might not be as accurate as you would like when they're giving you the updates on there, but I am thinking, based on what I've been researching before this show, that the website itself is pretty on point in terms of all the stats. So first thing I want to do, people, I remember smash that like button, smash that like button. Yeah, Float, you can't get them every week, bro. This week not looking good for you. That is a fact. It's not looking good, people. But yo, remember, do the YouTube things for me, Smash the like button, share, and subscribe. I need to remember to do that more often when I'm doing these videos. But people, yeah, man, big up yourself, Mass. Respect for tuning in, and I'm sure you liked the video and shared it for me, bro. Big up yourself. Big up yourself. Your pick's not looking tree bad, Mass. Yeah, your pick's not looking tree bad at all. Neither are mine still. But Float, yeah, not looking like the usual Float, Nobody now run away with it still. The games today will make a difference. Some different results picked by people. Everybody pretty much went for the Man U win, but the Ipswich-Brighton game, a lot of draws in there and a lot of Brighton wins. So we'll see. All right, so let's get right into it, people. As I said, we're going to talk about the upcoming friendlies. Jamaica will be taking on Trinidad twice. February 6th in Montego Bay. We'll love to see it, giving the West a game to watch. And then February 9th as well, back in Arnett in Kingston. It's going to be the second friendly against Trinidad. So this right here is the table for the league. It looks a little small, so let me make it a little bit bigger so it's a little bit easier to read. So this is the table. Mount Pleasant, as you see, in first, and hold on, this, yeah, 40 points. Then you have in second Arnett Gardens, 37 points, just beating MoBay the other day 1-0 to take that second spot. MoBay in third and 34 points. Then in fourth you have Cavalier and 31 points. Portmore in fifth under Rudolph Austin tutelage with 27 points. Then you have Waterhouse Fuzzy Gale, the coach, and 27 points. So that's the top six. As you know, in the Premier League, they're going to play the 39 games in the regular season. And then the top six at the end of those 39 games will play in the playoffs. Right now, the dreaded seventh spot, as Jerome Waite put it, 23 points. That's Tivoli Gardens. Then you have Chapelton Maroons, 17 points. Eighth position, Lions on the same points, but less goal difference. 17 points as well from Lions. Then you have Veer in 10th. That's, of course, Veer Phoenix United. They are on 16 points, and they're currently in 10th spot, just 3 points outside of the relegation 2. You have Racing also down there in the table in 11th, but some would say when you watch their games, they could definitely have better value in terms of their points on the table. They play some good football. They have 15 points from 17. Then you have Dunby Holding in 12th. Maybe a surprise to some, but they have 15 points. And then you have Harbourview, perennial powerhouse in the Premier League, but now currently really struggling on 13 points. And then Humble Lion under Donovan Duki's tutelage, they are on 11 points. So those make up the relegation teams right now. But as I said, 39 games this season, so plenty of football left for all these teams to make moves in the league. But Mount Pleasant definitely dominant. Currently only 1 loss from 17 played. Arnett as well, 2 losses. Cavalier only 2 losses as well, but a lot more draws than the top 3 teams with 7-4 for them. So that's how the table is shaking out right now. But what I want to do, people, is look at the stats for the season. I think that will help us to see which players are playing, right? Who's playing the most minutes and things of that nature. Let me see if I can just go to the teams, actually. Yeah, so we're just going to go to the individual teams. So let's look at Mount Pleasant. I think this will be the best way to kind of, work through the teams and see which players would more than likely be getting a chance in this local camp that's going to be called. I don't think that they're going to utilize too much the players in the USL and the MLS, because most of those organizations would be heavy into their preseason at the time. If they were going to do something like that, I think it would have to be held more along the lines in January for that to work. They still might try to acquire the services of some younger players in those systems, but I think most of our players we'd be looking at in those areas would be pushing to try to get first team football this season. And you want to have a continuous preseason with the team to have the best chance of that happening. So, there are some players that I would be thinking about, but for the purpose of this program today, I think I'm going to keep it towards just the JPL players, because I just think the timing of the camps, the ease with which Jamaica will be able to get these players organized and into a camp will be much easier if they just go from the JPL. I don't think we should be trying to add any expenses to these games. So, if the players are local, it will be a lot easier in terms of covering the overhead costs, getting the players to and fro where they need to be to play these two games. So that's the way I look at it still. All right, so this is Mount Pleasant right there. Let's just take a look at the roster overall. And remember, people, as I'm doing this, just smash the like button. People, share the content as well. Let people know that we're live so they can see what's going on. We're just going to look through the teams and see, which players getting the most appearances, who's playing the most. We have gotten a chance because of the Sports Max app and other various ways. Big up BAM Sports, Jam PL Fan, Knockins for the interviews, post-match, MG Sports, everybody that contributes in terms of the social media space to letting people that don't have access to it as much have a chance to even follow the league. I just want to say big up to them, because without that, it's really tough. So I've been able to compile enough knowledge and at least have enough of a understanding of the players and seeing enough of the players to know, okay, I can do a show like this where we go through the players and pick them. So yeah, we're going to do that today. I'm just going to go through each team and try to pick players based on their position and everything. So we have the keepers, Shaquan Davis, Tafari Chambers, right? So I would say Tafari Chambers probably wouldn't be called, but Shaquan Davis, just based on the fact that when we have the full international squads, he's typically in there. And he has been playing well this season, as you can see, made 13 appearances. His team has the best goals against record in the league currently. So you have to give him some credit for that. Still feel like his decision making sometimes can be better coming off of his line. I think sometimes he flaps at some crosses from time to time, especially in games where maybe Mount Pleasant has a lot of the game, a lot of the focus is on them in possession. Sometimes I think he does have that decision-making lapse from time to time, something he can work on. But shot stopping, definitely excellent. Had a brilliant save in the last game, particularly. Took it out of the top bins. Brilliant save. But yeah, I think the decision-making off his line on the cross is the one thing I think he could work on. Pretty good distribution-wise. Again, the decision-making and the distribution could be a bit better, but I think the execution typically is pretty good. So yeah, Shaquan Davis definitely one to watch. 24 years of age now, so I'm sure if he continues in this vein, Mount Pleasant will be looking to see if he has any opportunities overseas that he can grasp. So Shaquan Davis for me would be in the pool of goalkeepers, so we'll put his name down on the list. Going through to the defenders now for Mount Pleasant, I think there's a number of them you could look at. For me, the standouts would have to be the two fullbacks they acquired from Cavalier. That would be Gadale Irvin and Kyle Ming. I think both players would warrant call-ups into any kind of national local camp. So yeah, for me, I would say those two players would have to be some that I would have to call on for sure. I don't know why this has changed to Spanish. Yeah, I don't know why this thing changed to Spanish. This doesn't make sense. Anyway, so Kyle Ming, Gadale Irvin. We're going to put those two names in the defenders. Kyle Ming and Gadale Irvin. All right, anybody agree, disagree, let me know in the comment section. But those two players for me, if we're looking at Mount Pleasant team, they would have to be in the pool for the local camp. So that's two players right there. 3 players from Mount Pleasant so far. Then we have, let's see, Fitzroy Cummins. I think he's one that maybe could get a look in the defensive spot. He's 27 years of age now. I'm going to try to lean these picks more so to players under certain ages. I think 27 is right on that cusp. So I'm going to say with an asterisk, because remember, we're going to pick 8 defenders. So we have to be mindful of that. I think the 2 that I've said from Mount Pleasant and defense so far, they're in there for me in the 23. But Cummins, I'm going to put an asterisk for him. He might not make the final cut. But that would be all the defenders I would look at. I think Shaquille Dyer, for me, not quite there. Penny Cook hasn't really consistently played or played enough for my liking. So I would say that would be it on the defensive side. Now, into the midfield now, we have the likes of Kimoni Bailey. I think Kimoni Bailey, based on his performances so far, would get a look into the pool for me. Left-footed player, can play on either side, the left or the right. Also, pretty versatile because has fielding at left back as well. But I think he's a lot better in attacking form. Then you have Sule Makala, who has made squads in the past as a right back, has been converted pretty much predominantly to playing midfield this season for Mount Pleasant. Very good player, tactically sound, but I think for me, I want to unearth some players that I would definitely think we could look to getting into the team moving forward, maybe down the line, maybe once they have made a move. And for me, I just feel like Sule Makala, while experience is needed and all these things, in any squad you select, I just feel like the age works against him for me. And there's some other players with a better age profile that I think I'd want to look at in this current camp that we have coming up. But Sule Makala, definitely a very good player. But for me, for me in my team this go around, I would have to say I would have to overlook him. I have Tevin Shaw, who doesn't really play consistently enough. Talented player, but I don't think he gets enough game time for me to get in. I think Jashan Anglin, based on his form this season, never been a player that I have highly touted, but I do think since he's been to Mount Pleasant, I've seen a bit more calm into his game. And that's something that I've always thought he needed to work on. Just, not thinking he can win every single tackle, every single challenge. You still see it creeping into his game. 16 appearances this season, 4 yellow cards, 1 red card on the season. But, you don't want to take it out of his game completely. That's a part of what makes him a good player. But yeah, I think Jashan Anglin, bless me. I think Jashan Anglin definitely deserves a look in this local camp. So we're racking up the numbers so far. That's what 6 players I've mentioned from Mount Pleasant. They are leading the league, so it's to be expected. But again, we're gonna do a audit of all the players that we name right now, and we're gonna trim it down to 23 by the end of this. So we're just putting players that I think need to be in the conversation right now. Alex Marshall is a tricky one for me, people. Just coming back from injury, made 3 appearances now on the season, not yet to register a goal or an assist. Also had a penalty that he didn't dispatch as well. That happens in football, but we have to talk about it. It is the truth. He's 26 years of age now. Definitely, I think if he's a player that wasn't having these injury problems leading into this camp, would probably definitely be one of the names that Coach McLaren would want to look at. But I just worry that if we're being honest about this selection here, it would be kind of unfair to put him in this team. So I don't think, for me, while I rate the player highly, I think he has a lot of talent. I don't think that this window, it is be fair to the other players for Alex Marshall to be in there. So for that reason, people, I'm not going to put Alex Marshall on there. Blessings, Triple E. Big up yourself. We're there in the cold of Georgia, So yeah, for me, Alex Marshall doesn't get in. Now we have the 2 under 17 players, Jamari Nolan, Owen Jump. Of course, Nolan getting 6 appearances. Recently hasn't been playing because has been away with the U17s in Mexico and preparing. But Owen Jump did get 1 appearance this season so far. I don't think either of them are quite ready to make this jump. Plus, they'll be obviously busy with the U17 camp. But yeah, definitely 2 to watch moving forward, those 2 players. Then we have, of course, the rest of them, Ferreira, James, obviously Trinidad. So you might see James playing against us in these two games. Then you look at the forwards now. Shaquille Bradford, I think definitely deserves a call. Started out the season a bit slowly, but has definitely picked up the pace lately. Gone 8 goals now. Also, I think I'm pretty sure he has more than 1 assist as well. But it says 1 assist here, so we'll work with that. But 8 goals in 11 appearances, one of the more on-form players in the league in terms of striking. I think his versatility helps him to get into the team as well. You know, Jamaica sometimes will play the role with maybe 2 wide forwards. I think Bradford could supply something on one of those sides as well, and get a little closer to the main striker to make it a 2 if you want to change the tactics a little bit. So definitely Shaquille Bradford for me, and the other player would be Edwards, Raheem Edwards. Recently has been getting the starting berth in the number 9 position, played 16 times this season, 7 goals. I think Raheem Edwards, the former Racing player, got them into the Premier League. I think he should get a look in this local camp as well. And again, people, we're going to do an audit, but for now, I have identified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players from Mount Pleasant. Again, we're going to be a 23-man squad, so I wouldn't think that all 8 of these Mount Pleasant players will be there at the end of the cuts, but we are going to go through and see how it goes, you know. Papa Georgia getting some of the coal from Maryland. Yo, bro, I'm not happy for this coal at all. I'm telling you. See me have on a hot people. I not even want to wear this, but I cold, me cold. Yo, and the house warm, you know, but I still feel cold. I don't know how this work. But yeah, for me, those are the players I would say from Mount Pleasant. So just to recap, Shaquan Davis, Kyle Ming, Gadale Irving, Fitzroy Cummins, Kimoni Bailey, Jashawn Anglin, Shaquille Bradford, Raheem Edwards. Now, some might say, where's Daniel Green? For me, Daniel Green, you know what? I'm going to say Daniel Green is on the preliminary as well. I think he's been a bit more up and down this season for me, and also Devante Campbell. I would say Devante Campbell deserves at least to be in the conversation. Definitely very talented, but I just feel like the end product needs to increase. That's the only thing I see with Devante Campbell, but I'm going to put him on there as well. So it just got beefed up some more people, 6, 9, so 10 Mount Pleasant players tentatively in this local camp, but we will revisit and audit that, right? So let's go back to the standings and go to another team. Let's go to our next team here. The next team is Arnett Gardens. They're currently in 2nd place. So we can go through their squad as well now and see if we can find the players that we want to put on this team. All right. So we have, let's go by position again. No, actually, no. Let's go by appearance. Yeah. So I want to see the players that playing the most, right? So Jamon Shepherd, you see him in the midfield. Seen him lately also playing a bit more defensive. Seen him playing like a right back as well. So, you know, showing his versatility. But for me, 22 years of age, good player. Not really sure what his best position is on the pitch right now because, you know, I saw him playing a bit closer to the attacking line last season. But this season, ever since the Caribbean tournament that they won, the Caribbean Shield, he had been playing a bit deeper in the midfield, and now I see him playing right back. So I'm wondering if he's converting to more of a defensive-minded player. But I still think he's one that you could look at in this camp. Jaheim Thomas, the one they call National, 21 years of age, hasn't scored or assisted this season, but playing a lot of minutes, you know, starting a bunch of the games. I would say, you know, Jaheim Thomas is one that maybe you could look at, but I think Marlon Martin in that CDM position is one you'd have to look at right now. Definitely getting more consistent in his performance, being more of an influence on games, even popping up with goals here and there this season. Marlon Martin for me in the midfield pool. Then you have Kimani Arboin. I think he's right at that cutoff there, 27 years of age, but I think based on his performances so far this season, I would say he deserves to be in the mix. Definitely end product getting better, little more accurate with the shooting. So yeah, I would say he deserves a look in. Another one for me is currently injured, so that's the only thing. But Warner Brown definitely deserves to be in the conversation as well as a forward, one of the more clinical. Could actually be on more goals as well. He's on 8 right now, from 15 appearances, but I think, yeah, he's done a very good job this season. The defenders, Watson, Dyer, serviceable, but I'm not sure if either one of them really warrant to be in this squad. Now, Shea Smith is one that I think he divides opinion. I think some people think that Shea Smith is super talented, could really get in this team. A player that a lot of people talk about, but for me, I don't know if the consistency is quite there. You see flashes of it, but a lot of times it's like, that final action, it's just lacking. It's similar to Devante Campbell, but I think Devante has age on his side. So if I was picking between those two players, I would give Devante the edge, just because I think he has more to learn in the game. Even though Shea Smith at 26 is not, old and finished. I would more work with what's his name there? Devante Campbell, just because of the age, right? So Shea Smith, honorable mention, but I say just kind of miss out, just miss out. Now DeAndre Cunningham is an interesting one. He's has 13 appearances now. He's also, I believe, injured right now. So he's another one that, it's going to depend on how fit he can get. But for me, in that right back area, I think he's a player that I'm impressed with. DeAndre Cunningham can definitely give you a good set piece as well. Takes a lot of the corners and stuff for Arnett and some of the deeper set pieces. Even takes some shots on goal from set pieces as well. So definitely talented player. And I think, with him, it's just about getting a bit more composure on the ball when he's in tight spaces. Really believing that he can control that football when he's under pressure. At the fullback, at the right back in the modern game, it really get involved in the attack. You link up with play a lot, and you just need to see more of that from him. I think he's more focused on his delivery currently. Want his link up play to get a little bit better, but I definitely like what I see. Decent defender as well, 1v1, good athlete. So yeah, DeAndre Cunningham for me would get a look in as well. Let's see, Marlon Allen, Rashika Kelson. I don't think either of them have done enough to warrant. Shavani Willis, not consistently starting. I think he's always dealing with some kind of injury bug and things of that nature. Philando Wing, I was expecting more of him this season, to be honest with you. Hasn't really moved in the same vein as he was towards the end of last season. So he's one that I had expectations for, but yeah, I'm not really loving what I'm seeing now. This goalkeeper here, Roger Williams, is one that I'm going to put as a potential in this squad, because he has just gotten the starting berth recently. I think he has 6 clean sheets out of his, I think 9 appearances or 10 appearances it is. I'm not sure. I think it's 10, but it could be 9 as well. But I know he has 6 clean sheets out of those. And yeah, I would say Roger Williams might deserve a chance in this team as well. Now, Joel Jones, he's a player who has joined the team of late, and he's a part of this renaissance in defense in terms of stinginess for Arnett lately. Joel Jones recently scoring as well from a free kick. Good height on him. A player that I would say would be at least in the conversation to be whittled down to the final 8 defenders. So Joel Jones, one player for me. Alton Lewis, good player. I don't think he has quite settled into the Arnett team just yet. Not starting as much as he probably would have liked. So yeah, thought he would have kicked on a bit more with Arnett, but it's taking him some time. Rashean Thompson, usually a player that they use off the bench. Tall midfielder, but don't think he's really in line to get this call up. Fabian Reed, just recently making his return. 6 appearances now with the 1 goal. Well, a spectacular goal as well. But I think for same reason I would say with McCullough, I'd be looking elsewhere right now in this current team. So Fabian Reed, I don't know if I'd be pulling you back into this national setup. But we shall see. Gonna leave you off for now. All right. Let's see. And then Asher Hutchinson, the 20-year-old, don't think he's played enough. Shadiko Wizard hasn't played enough either, but was one that I was looking to watch this season, but hasn't really gotten enough time on the pitch. Think injuries are bugging him as well. Shadiko Wizard. So yeah, that's really it from Arnett for me. I think I've added on Roger Williams, Joel Jones, Cunningham, Marlon Martin, Shepard, Arboin, and Warner Brown. So that is the contingent from Arnett Gardens. So those are the top two teams in the JPL right now. So they're gonna take up the bulk of the team more than likely. Not the bulk, but a lot of the players probably will come from there. Then we have Montego Bay United, a team that has had a really good season so far. So let's just look at the individual players that they have been using and try to make sense of, which one of these players could probably get into this national team. So we have Mackenzie, midfield, good player. Don't think that he will be one that gets into this team, though, to be honest. Brian Brown, very sad, 32 years of age. Maybe would have been at that age where I would be looking like, I don't know, but he's been playing really well. Definitely got injured. I don't know how long he'll be out for, but speedy recovery to him. Brian Brown definitely would be out for this window, though. A player that recently was out, I think, for the last game. I think that's the first game he had missed this season, and that is Chanel Thomas. He's a player that I would definitely be looking at to be in this team. Chanel Thomas made the move from Cavalier over to Montego Bay. It was a bit of a surprise, honestly, that he made that move. Looked to be a part of the nucleus of that Cavalier contingent, but he's a grandpa now at 23 in terms of Rudolph's speed and his players. So they got him out the door, and he's over at MoBay having a decent season. So he's in line for me. Trimingham, I think, might be in the Trinidad setup. The 28-year-old Trini. He's been having a good season with MoBay. Owen Garden, Turkleman, having a good season as well. Recently missed a penalty late in the game, though. So it wasn't the best game for him against Arnett. But I don't think that he will be in line in my particular squad, just based on him being 33 years of age. But I want to big him up same way. Highly professional player, seems to be in top fitness as well. And who knows, maybe when I get through the end of this list and I'm looking and I'm saying, okay, I know he's 33, I know he's 32, I know he's 31, I know he's 30. But yeah, he does deserve to play on this team with the rest of the JPL players. So we shall see. Owen Garden, I'm going to put him as a, just in the conversation. Yeah, Owen Garden. Hospedales could potentially play for Trinidad as well. In these two fixtures, he's been having a good season as well with them. Then we have Demario Phillips. He's 26 now. I believe he has had a good season so far. Has had some injuries every now and again, but I think whenever he's played, has been effective in the games for Montego Bay. Getting into some other players now. Jordan Fletcher, 26 years of age, has not contributed a goal yet this season. If we're going by name, you would say yes, because he's usually involved in these camps. But if we're going off form, I can't say that Jordan Fletcher deserves to be in this team, if I'm being honest with you. And then it's amazing, though, because there aren't many players from MoBay that have made, all the appearances. You have Odain Nish, Ronaldo Wellington. These players could potentially get into the mix. They are both defenders. And let's just see, their latest result. This was their last game against Arnett, the 1-0. And I got to see a good chunk of this game. I watched it live. It was a good game, very tight. I think both goalkeepers did really well on the night. Arnett's keeper and MoBay's keeper. But in this particular game, Wellington started. Had a decent game as well. Trying to see. I mean, because, MoBay, right now I only have Gordon Thomas, Demar Phillips from MoBay. And I feel like there are more players that probably deserve to get a look. So that's nice. Yeah, shot chart and things. So yeah, big up to the JPL website, giving you the action, That's nice. That's nice. All right, let me go back to the squad again. Yeah, so Mackenzie, 23 years of age. I'd have to say Mackenzie deserve a look, at least in the conversation. I would have said Wellington as well. So Mackenzie in midfield. And Wellington. All right, so that is it. Now let's go to the next squad. See if there's any players, any gems that we can find to put into the pool of players that we're going to select the 23 from. And that's Cavalier Football Club. So you know, Cavalier Soccer Club, excuse me. Speed plays soccer over there. All right, so Jalmaro Calvin, people, listen. I know that he can play for another place, but I was told that he is making the switch. So I'm going to say Jalmaro Calvin without a doubt is in this squad. And more than likely, I would probably start him as well. Overay will more than likely be a part of Trinidad setup. Then you have Giovanni Leng. He's another one, people. I think has improved leaps and bounds. Of course, Richard King deserves a lot of the credit because he's playing really well as well. But for me, Giovanni Leng, definitely. Now, in midfield, people, I believe both of these guys deserve a chance. Allen and also Shamar Watson. Both of them. Both of them for me. Then you have Richard King, for sure. He's still here. You know, we heard reports that he's being looked at. Of course, the window will have closed by then. So, obviously, if he's not available, he's gone. But if he is available, then I would think he would be a part of this and more than likely captain this team. Then you have Adrian Reed. Scored a good goal the other day. Has been involved in camps with McLaren. So, just by virtue of that, I think he would be in the mix as well. And coming along this season in the JPL, making some good appearances as well. Stein, of course, would have been around, but, you know, obviously he doesn't play for Jamaica. Dwayne Busy Atkinson, don't know his fitness level currently, but I think if we're having any kind of squad being picked, he would have to be in the mix. Christopher Ainsworth, for me, would also be in the mix. I think he can play left back. He can play on the left side of midfield as well. So I would have him getting a look into the pool, at least in the conversation. Let's keep on going through and not see Jaheim Fraser, Jadine White. I would not probably put him in there. I think Bartlett has really cemented himself as the number one. So for me, wouldn't be looking at him. Then we have the youngsters, you know, Alex Xavier Gooden getting a lot of appearances this year. Odein Wilberforce up front. Chad James, you know, thought he would have been getting more game time, but not really kicking on as much as I would have thought. Orlando Russell, you know, had that rough appearance in the finals that they won the other day. But yeah, I think that those are pretty much the players. Ronaldo Barrett, definitely one to look at for the future as well, but has been struggling with injury as well. Recently coming back though and looking good so far. But yeah, I think they're just a bit short for me in terms of getting into any kind of national setup. So the Cavaliers, what I've added is Giovanni Leng, Richard King, Christopher Ainsworth, Allen, Watson, Adrian Reed, Calvin, and Dwayne Busy Atkinson. Why using a player over 26? It makes zero sense. So which player over 26 me just use? I think I picked nobody over 26, did I? Lenga how much? Lenga 24. So it couldn't be. It must be from Arnett then. It must be from the last side, or MoBay. Oh, I think Wellington. Is Wellington 26? I think he's 25. Let me see. Rasta. He's 25. So I'm right on that cusp, you know. But I think him playing well enough to at least, you know, get called into the camp. If that's the player you were talking about, Real Baller, let me know. What about the players who got released from USL clubs? Do you think they'll be considered? Well, Triple E, to be honest, that's a good question. The likes of like Tyreek McGee, who hasn't gotten a club as yet. Most of the other ones though that I know were released have secured jobs somewhere else. I think McGee is the one that comes to mind. Who else? What other player hasn't really secured that lost a USL work? Which other players would that be? So Portmore United, the next team in the list we're going to go through. So right now, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 18, 28. We have 30 players so far, people. I've cut it down to 23. All right, so this is Portmore's team. Emilio Rosso, always like the player. They have converted him really to play more centre back of late. Him and Stevie Young in the back of the defense line. I would say Stevie Young for me, always one that I think have something about him. I think under Austin will help him as well, because Austin was an aggressive player as well, but Austin had a good way of controlling it. He wasn't, I wouldn't say he was overall rash. I think sometimes his head would take him in games, but I don't think overall, as long as he was mentally in the game properly, I don't think he was rash. Then you have Romeo Guthrie. He's right. For me, I might get beaten by Real Baller, but for me, I think he deserves to be in the conversation. So I'm gonna put him down for now. Tariq Zimenez, definitely for me, deserve a look in. Maybe not as prolific as you would have liked, but I just feel like this player, there's something in this player, people. I'm telling you, there's a talent in there somewhere. I just think he need the right situation. But I like the fact that he's fit, he's playing, and he's pretty much converted into an attacker now. And I do think that it's not a bad move for him, because he does have some good attacking instincts. We saw his latest goal with his head, getting on the end of that cross. That's something that maybe last season or a couple of years ago he wouldn't have had the instinct to be there on the back post to finish that. So I think he can turn into a decent striker. Definitely has the potential to play wide as well, coming from a fullback, wingback type of role before. So yeah, versatility, and I think he just needs more reps at the forward line. But I would definitely consider him in the conversation. Let me see, Rose, good player, 22 years of age. Don't know if I'm quite getting. I think Howell, we've tried a bunch of times. I don't think I'd get him in there. I do like the likes of this kid though, Grizzle, whatever you say it. Seen a few clips of the match highlights of their games and stuff. Portmore is a team I haven't been able to watch like a full game of though, sadly. But I always check into the match highlights and the recaps and stuff just to hear about at least what the players are doing. And definitely Grizzle is one that you always hear something about. Yeah, for me, not many more on this team I would really be looking at right now. Daniel Russell. Yeah, let me know, people, in the comment section, any Portmore fans or people that follow Portmore teams. Is there anybody that I'm missing out on? Russell for me, you know what, since there's not like an overwhelming amount of centre backs who use their left foot, I think that's going to give Russell a notch. But I liked when he was playing left back more. But he is settling into that centre back role a much better later. Okay, so yeah, Speedy got another team. Yeah, he got another team. Howell can retire, say Omar Fowling. Damn. Do you know if any player who plays in the US will be a part of the camp? I see Gray in California and Blake in Spain. Yeah, well, look, it depends, because I think, like, all right, for example, I saw Christopher Pearson posting with the first team today or yesterday. I saw Tavon Gray posting with the first team. So some teams, I think, starting their stuff now. You know what I'm saying? JG Switzerland TV. Yeah, bro. We don't need for war, people, bro. This YouTube thing is not that serious, you see me? But yeah, based on that question about the USL, it just depends. And I just feel like because it's so late, like in February, I remember a lot of these leagues start early March, you know, so that would be like the peak time of preseason right there, that 4 weeks before where you want to really lock in. So I don't know if a team would really be wanting to be giving up, you know. Devon Williams is not good enough, says 876 Jamrock. Where is Pearson playing? Pearson is with Columbus Crew. So he posted Columbus Crew would be having their preseason now. I see him walk through the snow in them gear and thing, and then see him post a next picture up on the field. So yeah, man, a lot of these USL and MLS based players, their preseason start from like now, you know, like this week is when them meet back up for the most part, you know. So it just would be tough to be breaking that type of camp to come play for Jamaica in 2 games where, to be honest, what do they really mean? You know what I mean? What do they really mean? It's just an exercise to give the local players a chance to don the colors, play an international match, and you know, let the coach see them playing an actual game and see if he want to use any of them. You know what I mean? But that's really the main thing about it. It's not necessarily, you know, you don't want to lose to Trinidad, but it's not really about that. It's about trying to find players, I would think. All right, so this is the Waterhouse team. They are currently in 6th place, last playoff spot. You know, Bygrave doing decent, but 31, so don't think he'll be in there. Donato Thomas 30, you know, Martin Davis at 28, not really setting the league alight, getting a lot of minutes, but not really doing much on the score sheet. Jebison 26, decent, you know, Fletcher decent as well, 5 goals. Yeah, I think Andre Fletcher maybe I would say could get a look. He's right at 25, so you know he's on that cusp. And again, this is just names in the pool, people. But yeah, for me, we're gonna start look on age, you know. That's the best thing for look on, yeah, man. So Jaheim Brown, 23, midfield, playing 16 games. That's a good sign. Booth, I've seen, not really a huge fan. Not that many youngsters in this team. Kimani Campbell, Andre Smith. Of course, you know, last on the list is going to be the player that we've been calling a lot, which is Kemar Foster. And to be honest, people, just knowing how we operate, I wouldn't be surprised if Kemar Foster don't get called in this team. I'm going to put him as a person that is in the pool to be talked about. Javane Bryan, 28. Yeah, I don't really see much in this Waterhouse team, to be honest, that I'm saying, okay, they have to be involved. Jaheim Brown is the only one that I would say intriguing. So I'm gonna say Jaheim Brown can get even a look just to see if him can make the cut. Next team is Tivoli Gardens. So Tivoli Gardens people, I'm make sure not drop in the comments, you know, let me know if you agree, disagree. Well, he was with the MLS Next 2 team, you know, which is the feeder team to the MLS. So when it's preseason, they have the option to look at all the players in their umbrella. So he's training with the first team. So hopefully he can be permanent, you know. Yeah, I'm hearing the same, Rob Smith. No camp. They're just gonna pick a team and play the games. Michael Seaton is playing in like the 4th or 5th year in Germany right now. Yeah, at last time I checked on him, that's where he was. I don't know if he moved. Christopher Wright said it would also be good for the players who are not holding down a place in their team preseason. It's always a great start to impress the coaching staff. Yeah, that's why I'd say I'd have to do some more research about that, you know? Yeah, Fouling. Yeah, man. You know, I hope the next time there's a press conference and I ask him a question about a player, I don't hear him say that his friend told him, you know, anything. And he actually says, yes, I went to see this game against this team or something. Yeah, fourth tier. All right. Yeah, I knew it was fourth or fifth. All right. So this is the Tivoli team, and what we're going to do is we're going to break it down by age. Now, for me, this is like one of the most nailed down ones for me. Fuller. Nikolai Fuller, only 20 years of age. Think he has a lot of promise and potential. Think Tivoli could potentially have one that they could export overseas for a decent. If not on the first one, the follow-on sale could be decent. Yeah, Nikolai Fuller. I know it's spelled Nicolia, but yeah, it's Nikolai. Justin Dunn recently went over to Cavalier. Not really kicking on this season, to be honest, but I think potential-wise, where do you see his best position as well? We've seen him playing in midfield, wide, number 9. What do you think Justin Dunn's best position is on the pitch? I personally think he's just a forward. Can play wide forward, can play number 9, central forward as well. So I think he has some versatility in that respect. 21 years of age, so they can work with him and see what he can do moving forward. Anthony Nelson, the midfielder. I don't think I would put him on there. Denville Watson, Janai Williams. Yeah, so Nathan Thomas. Yes, I don't really think there's many more, based on age. A lot of their other players that are key contributors, definitely a little bit further along in their careers. So for me, Tivoli, Justin Dunn and Nikolai Fuller would be the two that I'd be looking at. Then now we move on to Chapelton Maroons. This team has a lot of youth in it for sure. Nathaniel Howe for me, for sure, definitely in this pool of players. Like the looks of this player, very composed on the ball. Not afraid to go into his bag of trips as well, like almost a throwback to the Jamaican midfielder I kind of grew up on. But I think, doesn't overdo that either. Can just play simple as well. So I like the balance that he has. Not afraid to express himself. I do think he needs to get better defensively for sure if he's gonna play that deeper role in midfield, which is where I see them trying to groom him to play. But if he can improve on that, I definitely like what he brings on the ball. Always looking to be progressive with his passing, which I like. So Nathaniel Howe, for me, deserves to be in the conversation for this team. Then we have Jamari Howell. Decent so far this season, I will have to say. Prince Daniel Smith, not bad in goal, but I don't know if he quite makes the cut. Malik Stevens doing decent this season, at least with game time and stuff. Nashawn Bennett, the midfielder. Tajay Brown, I think, has done decent in his time. Gawain Austin, thought he would have been doing a little bit more this year, but I know he's been struggling with some injuries. Then you have Javel Ellis, one that they have been talking about this season. Not as prolific as he would have liked to have been, but definitely a handful on his day. Maybe someone who can look at in the potential pool. Don't know if he'll make the final cut, but Javel Ellis at 25, not really that with him so much, but definitely see some potential in him as a target striker, Javel Ellis. So that's Chapelton Maroons team. I think Nathaniel Howe, for me, the no-brainer selection. I think he's done decent this year, and definitely more to come. Malines, a team that of late has started to pick up the pace after a really slow start to get out of that relegation fight. I mean, they're still in it, honestly, because the season is young, but they look like they're on an upward trajectory at least. Their team, as you can see, a lot of youngsters getting some game time. But the bulk of their team is a bit older, that's playing a lot of the games. Javon Brown in midfield, Shamara Dennis midfield as well. But yeah, I don't know if currently there is really a player on this team that I would say definitely need to be in the team. most of the players, as I said, that are the key contributors, Jason Wright, Jeremy Nelson, players of that ilk, Rashawn Livingston, these players are a lot older players. So, a lot of their key contributors are on the other end of their careers. And you see, with most of these selections, we've been really keeping an eye on the age, trying to make sense of everything. Romario McPherson, not a bad shout, but so I can't go to him profile. Oh. But yeah, I don't really see many from this team. I mean, Javon Brown, as I say, decent age on him, but we can't just be picking them just because them age. The 10 for Waterhouse. Did I miss a baller? Let me see. What the 10 for Waterhouse again? Oh, Denardo Thomas. Brother. Denardo Thomas. Nah, I met that team, yeah, brother. Sorry. Well, not my team. Maybe him get picked for the actual team, but not my team. Kenra Campbell, a name we never hear, is on the move to Serbia. Yes, sir. He's on my list, Rob. I always talk, well, not always, but I've talked about him before because he always seem to score some bangers wherever I'm playing. Yeah, he's on loan. He's on loan at Cavaliers. Yes, he's on loan at Cavaliers, but the bulk of his stats would have been from Tivoli because that's where he was for the most of the season. All right, so which team we just did a while ago? We did Mullines. All right, so let's move to Veer now. So Veer have a lot of youngsters, but we need to really break down if they deserve to be in this team or not, right? So let's look at the roster for Veer. So a lot of the youngsters there. So Sean Layton, 16. Peralta, 18. Marlon Cunningham. Demarion Harris. Denzel McKenzie, 9 appearances now in the league. Carlton Brown as well, 9 appearances. Isaiah Whittle. Bliss Nelson. Alex Suazo get a game as well. Mexican. Robino Garden for me, people. He's in there. He looks to be the one that has gotten into the swing of things in the JPL the quickest. Denzel McKenzie. I think he deserves to be in the convo. Don't know if he'll make the final 23, but I think he definitely warrants to be in the conversation. His age profile, what he's been able to do so far, not looking out of place in the league. Michael Forbes playing a lot of minutes, but as still people, I don't know, man. I'm not so impressed with Michael Forbes. I've never been. So for me, he's outside of it. I know his age and his physical attributes would make people want to look, but for me, I'm not seeing it, man. I'm not seeing it at all. Jaden Anderson, another youngster, but he has been up and down this season. Don't believe their goalkeepers would warrant any kind of call-up either. Let me see, is there any other player? I think Wooling at 28 now might get a call for Trinidad. I think he's been playing good enough to get a call. But yeah, for me, the only two I see on Veer right now that deserve a call to this particular squad would be Robino Garden and Denzel McKenzie. I think Michael Forbes just on the outside for me. Don't think he deserves to get over some of the players in the league right now. Racing United, this is a team that I think when you're looking at individual talent, they have some. Obviously, the results wouldn't really show much about this team. But definitely a team that I enjoy. I love whenever they're going to come on because I know you're going to see some decent football. They definitely try to play. Nikhil Ellis, for me, deserves to get a call up. Young player, another one that I see trying to play that CDM position in the right way. Definitely more calm than Nathaniel Howe in that position in terms of his tackling. But I think where he could definitely use a little bit more fight and bite in his game. So he's almost the other side too far. So But Nikhil Ellis, though, one I think that you can look at in terms of the future and to see what his potential is. Ronaldo Biggs for me, again, another one like Ellis, not as prolific, and I think it's a part of the reason why his team is where it is in the table. But in terms of talent, in terms of what I see in patches, in moments, glimpses, I would have to say that this player deserves to be in and around the setup for this JPL squad, right? So, yeah, for sure. Ronaldo Biggs, he would be another one on there. Moving on to the next page. Let's see. Tajay Grant is intriguing, but I think it would be unfair with him just playing one game, to get into this team. But yeah, I would say as of right now, that's probably all I would put on from the racing team. Yeah, that's probably all I would put on from the racing team right now, to be honest. Yeah, so we're gonna say Ellis and Biggs from racing. Then we have, let's see how much more team we have. We have Done Beholden. Let's just look through Done Beholden real quick. Make sure there's not some hidden baller we may forget about. So you have Leo Campbell, good youngster. Malachi Douglas played 6 times this year. Beckford, Russell, Lawrence, Nakil, right? Them have a lot of youngsters, 23, Richard Brown, Shaquille Powell. But yeah, Ajuma Johnson, a little bit past it at this point. So yeah, I mean, Leo Campbell really the only one that I would say potentially. Of course, Douglas, he just hasn't kicked on like we would have liked. So it would be unfair to have him out there. So yeah, Done Beholden, I think we'll struggle to get a player into this setup this time. Leo Campbell definitely want to keep watching though. And of course, Malachi, we know the level that he could potentially get to if he can put it all together. Then we have Harbour View struggling right now. Okemo Jones, player that I rate. But yeah, I just feel like, based on what they have been up to this season, it's just tough to put these guys out there. I think Okasa Chang, probably the only player that you could say, yeah, he probably deserved to get a call in an all JPL squad. Yeah, he would be the player for me to get in there. Garth Stewart hasn't done well enough for me. Okemo Jones, Some players that have some intrigue and promise, but just haven't been performing. So it's hard to say, yes, let's get them in this team. And then Humble Lion pulling up the rear in the Y at the foot of the table currently. Let's just look at their team. Donovan Duki coaching them, of course. Cleo Clark, a player that I think does deserve getting a little more time. And, definitely in the convo at least. Odean Murray, Jameson, these players, ones you could look at, but can't really say based on performance, they really deserve it, Even though Humble Lion in last, haven't really conceded that many, being fair, Oh yeah, they have 25. They conceded quite a bit. So yeah, that would be the pool, people. There's a lot of players on this list. But I'm going to go through now. I'm just going to pick out a 23. Yeah, bro. Horrible. Why? I thought Ellis played deeper in the midfield, or is more like a box to box. Denardo Thomas is a skill box, skill pill, but not enough end product, man. Kyle Butler not just on the list, but starting and playing the music at halftime. Nah, bro. No, Butler can't make the midfield for me. No way. Sorry. Yo, sorry about that, people. Veer get a lot of TV time, you know, and him don't deserve to be there. So, all right. So I came up with 3 goalkeepers. I think it will stay that way. Shaquan Davis, Roger Williams from Arnett, and Kamara Foster. I don't really see a young goalkeeper in the Premier League that really warrants a spot. So, you know, unless they're going to call for the like, and remember, people, I'm not even talking about the likes of a Hibbert who could get away from where he was and all of that stuff. Whatever happened to that kid that was in Serbia, played in the under 20 and went to JC? Oh, Duncan McKenzie. Duncan McKenzie is injured, I believe. Or if he's not injured, he's just now coming back from an injury, like a really bad injury. To get the best out of Ellis to play him as a cam. All right. So yeah, McKenzie, to my knowledge, is still recovering. I don't know if he's quite fully back yet. Let me see if I can check. Because he's in a recognized league that is easy to get the info. Yeah, so he's actually without a team right now. Interesting. So I wonder if you would want to play some JPL. Seem like if you play JPL, you have a better chance to make the national team, you know. All right, so let me start to go through the list now, people. So in goal, as I say, we have 3 goalkeepers: Shaquan Davis, Roger Williams, Kamara Foster. Roger Williams. How old is Roger Williams, by the way? And Roger Williams really and truly is there by virtue of the hot hand, right? He just got the starting role, but his effectiveness since he got the job is crazy. Real talk. Yeah, it is real talk, bro. If you go JPL, if you're on the cusp or you're a player, like you could go to like, I don't know, even Serbia. Or go to Arnett Gardens or whatever and get game time. I would say go to Arnett Gardens, bro. Honestly. I know you might not make out as well financially, but if your aspirations is to be on a national team, you're closer to it being at Arnett, bro. It's just a fact. That's why I would try to do these shows and raise awareness and stuff. But, you know, I'm just little old me, and other people that make this content is little old them. Some of them big still, you know. Let me not water down them thing, you know. But, yeah, it's crazy. We say if them play him closer to the attack, him get more time. All right, fair enough. All right, so I go through 3 goalkeepers, set in stone for me. Shaquan Davis, Roger Williams, Kamara Foster. Those are a young keeper, really, you know, putting his hat in the ring and saying, okay, it's on me as the next keeper out of the JPL. So yeah, Foster is still around for me. Then we have defenders, right? So we need to pick 8 out of this list. Kyle Ming, Gadiel Irvin, for me, they are good to go. Kyle Ming, Gadiel Irvin, they are good to go. I'm picking them in my team. Sorry. I think Ming is now 24 and Irving is 26. So a little bit older, but still, I think he's the best left back in the league, and I would bring him. Fitzroy Cummings from Pleasant. I think you have to look at it some more. Now, right backs, I have DeAndre Cunningham from Arnett, Wellington from MoBay, and Robino Garden, right? So I think Garden for me would be in there as a youth representative you want to bring through. So I would say him. And then it's going to be between Wellington and Cunningham, I would say, for the other spot. For now, let's just say Ming and Garden as the right backs then. I'll leave it there. Now, centre backs. I have Joel Jones, Giovanni Leng, Richard King. So Leng and King for me, no brainers. Now, for me, we will probably want to bring 4 centre back. So I would say Stephen Young gets in there as well as a youngster, 23 years, good age. And it's about, do we want to have a left-footed centre back? Because for me, it would be between the likes of Wellington, Jones, and Russo. Now, Russo of those three is the only left footer. So does that give him a notch? He can also play left back, so you kind of have the versatility there. So I think Russo being left-footed might give him the edge. And then I would say, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we need one more. All right, so basically we need to pick one from this list, people. I think it would be Fitzroy Cummins, Joel Jones, or Christopher Ainsworth. So out of them three, the people who you put on the team, Fitzroy Cummins from Mount Pleasant, Joel Jones from Arnett, or Christopher Ainsworth from Cavalier. Me personally, I'm gonna say Ainsworth, because youth, youth are do it. So you have your options. You have Ainsworth can occupy a little more attacking as well, or left back. You have Irving, you have Russell, centre back / left back. So you have some options left-footed wise. Then you have the likes of King, Leng, Ming can also play centre back, Young, and Robino Garden as a right back, right? So you have some options there, good versatility. So that would be my 8 defenders I go with. Yeah, Cavaliers left back, I agree. So I'll say Ainsworth. So far, this is the team. We have Shaquan Davis, Roger Williams, Kemar Foster as keepers. Defenders, we have Kyle Ming, Gadale Irving, Giovanni Leng, Richard King, Christopher Ainsworth, Stephen Young, Emilio Risso, and Robino Garden. So yeah, let me know if I've left off. I think my centre backs might be a little light. I've gone for Russell mainly for familiarity, people. Like I've seen the player, I trust the player. I know he's been converted to a centre back. Maybe people don't like him as much there, but I think the player has potential and still a decent enough age. I think he's like 25 now, maybe even 24. So yeah, not over the hill at all. So those would be my 8 defenders. Now this is going to be the tough part now, people. We're going to have to pick 6 midfielders out of this bunch. I have some good names on here, people. But remember, we have to balance the thing. So we can't pick 6 attacking midfielder. We have to balance it, right? So my ideal thing that I would want to do is you have 2 more holding the midfielders. And then out of the rest of the midfielders, you mix them in between box to box and attacking midfielders, right? And you maybe could even, yeah, you could do it like that, right? So let's say in the central defensive, I will go ahead and say my standout this season in the JPL has been Marlon Martin from Arnett. He has been the most consistent, the most standout, the one I see controlling games the most for a team in that midfield area as a Jamaican player in the JPL, right? So I'll say Marlon Martin gets there. Now, based on what they did in the Caribbean Cup, I think we'll have to pick one of the Cavalier holding players. Now, I think we're going to have to go to the chat, though, and which one we pick. So is it going to be Dwayne Allen or Shamar Watson? Because for me, Adrian Reed is going to get picked. And I think it just makes sense. I mean, he played with the main team. Not played, but he got picked with the main team. And yeah, I think McLaren called him once as well. So it just makes sense for him to have that continuity and be there. I also will say that Jashan Anglin will be a part of the team. So right away, Marlon Martin, who I want to put in there, I don't know if he's gonna make it. So I'm gonna scratch off Marlon Martin for now. I think Anglin will be there. I think Reed will be there as players that are in the system. The Mario Phillips, a third you can put in the mix there, who can play more attacking. So Anglin and Reed, your deeper midfielders. Now there's a lot of names left in this midfielder. Where say you play Ainsworth left back in a back 4 system, or you wouldn't. Okay. So you play him left wing back or left midfield in some kind of system. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I have the cover though, because I have Russell there as a left back as well. If I want to play him at left back, and Gadale Irving as my probably first choice left back. Yeah, in a back 4. All right, so the midfielders so far, Anglin, Phillips, and Reed, I think you can pretty much count them as 3 of those 6 midfielders. Then it's tough, people. There's a lot of names. I'm going to go through the names that are left. We have to pick 3 out of them names. We have to pick 3 out of them names. 876 Jamrock say, a politics why Adrian Reed get picked. We have a lot more better midfield in the JPL. Okay, so Jamrock, where say I should take him out of the mix then. So Anglin and Phillips really are the only 2 where either say them play for Jamaica before them in the JPL, them all get picked, right? All right, fair enough. So if I that here say, then we're going to take Adrian Reed and take him check mark off of him. So right now, I'm going to say a lot of names and we're going to pick 4 players. We're going to pick 4 players. Out of these names, Kimoni Bailey, Shepherd from Arnett, Marlon Martin from Arnett, Mackenzie from MoBay, Dwayne Allen from Cavalier, Shamar Watson from Cavalier, Adrian Reed from Cavalier, Romeo Guthrie from Portmore, Grizel from Portmore, Brown and Howe, Chapelton, right? Mackenzie from Veer and Nathaniel Ellis from Racing. So who wanna say? So Crazy Yard, they say him have 3 of them already in there. Martin, Anglin, and Watson. All right, so somebody vote Martin and somebody vote for Watson. Fair enough. So are we saying that Watson deserve it over Reed? Is that what we're saying? Because it look like nobody now really say Allen so far. And I would agree, I kind of see a bit more of a higher ceiling for Watson than Allen, to be honest. Even though I like Allen, I like everything that him bring. I think Watson can go further maybe in the game, honestly. Just the physical attributes are a little bit better for the position. And, I think I see a bit more of a maybe another level him can go to. Yeah, so Watson, I would agree, I think Watson deserve it over Reed, to be honest, based on the sample size and what he's been doing. I know Reed been, had some trials and he went away and, he did a lot of other things, but you have to call a spade, Watson really been doing him thing. Bless up RR, what go on? All right, so let's say now, I'm just going to pick 6 of these people. So we can't go 2 defensive people. So we have Anglin and we have Martin and we have Watson. So those will be my more defensive. Anglin can play a bit more box to box as well. So can Watson. Martin will really be the defensive central when he might play, right? So we need 3 more players, people. 3 more. So we have the Mario Phillips. That's 4. The likes of Romeo Guthrie. The likes of Nathaniel Howe. Nikhil Ellis. Duncan Mackenzie. Jermone Shepherd. Kimoni Bailey. Oh, Mackenzie from MoBay is a CB or a right back. Okay. Fair enough. Well, Mackenzie from Veer then. Adrian Reed is garbage. I see him playing in the U20. I can't believe we had so much better players than him in the U20. I can't understand how them give him captain armband, all a cuss bad word on Big Fox Sports TV. Bailey is a winger also. Yeah, he's a winger also. He's like a hybrid, like left wing back winger. He's a lot like Ainsworth too, but I think he's probably more of a winger than Ainsworth though. So yeah, maybe it's unfair to put Bailey and not as a forward, but true, I know him can kind of play that deeper role too. I say maybe it makes sense to put him in the midfield group, but we can call him name in the forward group too if you want to get a look in that way. But so far the consensus seems to be Anglin, Phillips, Martin, and Watson, and we just need 2 more players now. I wouldn't put no schoolboy in the RR, none. Guthrie, yeah. I think Guthrie was impressive the last time they played Trinidad too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Guthrie make the 5th player. So we have 1 left, people. We have Ellis, Desmond, Denzel McKenzie, or Woolipa McKenzie, you know. Denzel McKenzie, Nathaniel Howe, Grizel, Dwayne Allen, Shepherd, Kimoni Bailey. Crazy Yard say, oh. All right. Anybody else have a thought on this one? Howe, Ellis, Shepherd. What want to say? What want to say, people? Mackenzie hasn't hit the ground running as yet. Mirac goes for Ellis. The lazy coach is coming next time and said, Jason gave me the players and I like the players. Yo, first responder, we don't want the credit. Give Meran the list then. Make Meran tell him. Messi from McGrath score hat-trick on Phoenix. Yeah, Devon Davis. Devon Davis, bro. It's do you think Devon Davis? I'm gonna add Devon Davis into my forwards list because he does play more of a forward role. So I'm gonna add him to the forwards and see if he can make that cut. Because we're gonna pick 6 forwards as well, you know. All right, so I would say that 6th and final spot would go between Howe and Ellis. And I would say that of those 2, I think right now I would go with Ellis. So I'll say Ellis. So a lot of people missed the cut there. But remember, we have to can, you know, we have to can make the cuts, people. So it go. Tell them don't coach their Jamaica say players with true leadership qualities who want to see leading the teams in Jamaica and not players who friends with coaches. Jeez. So Crazy Yard, they drop him 6. Anglin, Martin, Watson, Guthrie, Howe, and Phillips. Okay. So I think the only thing I have different, I went for Ellis over Howe. And I think those 2, it's you know, you can flip a coin. I think both players showed good promise so far this season. So can't really argue with either one of those 2. But I think one of them do deserve a look. But I think you want to mix in players that have some experience as well, like Phillips, like Anglin, Guthrie, you know, would be considered experience in this type of pool. So yeah, you want to go with those players as well. No, we're gonna pick 6 forwards, people, and of course, we're gonna have some kind of breakdown. So I would think you want to have 2 more number 9-ish players, and then maybe 1 hybrid number 9/wing, and then you maybe pick 3 out-and-out wingers or 2 out-and-out wingers, or you know, you want to have a good breakdown of the forwards. So it's a long list of forwards, people, long list. But I think this first pick that I have going to be controversial because we know that he might not even be playing for Jamaica. But if he does, I'm picking him, and that's Jamaro Calvin. I'm picking him as one of the forwards. I don't care where you put him, just pick him and play him up there. I think for me as well, is exploiting the CONCACAF tournaments and everything. Dwayne Busy Atkinson needs to be on this team. So those are 2 for me that I have to put on there. I'm sorry, I don't business. Now, after those 2 people can have the conversation, there are 4 more slots. And boy, Mr. Speed going to really enjoy. What do I agree with this, Jamrock? Don't coach their Jamaica say players with true leadership qualities don't want to see leading the teams and not players who are friends with coaches. Yes, I totally agree with that. It should never be based on relationships and things of that nature. It should be based on evaluating, and you pick out the best leader. I mean, people are going to show their leadership qualities. You can meet somebody and in 2 minutes you can know if they would be a good leader or not. You should be able to know as an evaluator of talent and people. So yeah, I would think that they would base it on those things and not necessarily, oh, me know him from this and me know him from that, you know? Crazy, yeah, this a calm down. Yeah, Calvin no-brainer, for real. Speed won't like the clout on his players. Yeah, well, look, it's not about clout, you know. Brian from Waterhouse, I think he's a good striker. Yeah, Jamrock, he's decent, you know, but my problem with Brian is he's 28 years old, and I don't know. I'm just more so looking at players that we can really think about putting in the national team for real. Like Javane Bryan, what is his ceiling as a player right now, currently? You know, I don't know. I don't want to tell the man to stop playing or anything. But I mean, if we're going to really get use out of these windows, we need to think about picking players that realistically could potentially play for Jamaica, if not now, at some point. So I would want it to be a more future-leaning team. Calvin, Fuller, Atkinson, Biggs, Edwards, Thomas, and Bradford. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So you have to go cut one. Because based upon the makeup of the team, because 23 players we are picking up. We make it like a squad. So we have 8 defenders, 3 keeper, that are 11. Plus 6 that are 17, plus 6 more that are 23. So you're going to need to cut off one of them there. And Brian hasn't been starting. Bygrave, somebody older than him, been starting. That is true. And he was injured at first, but him come back and him never get back the role. So, all right. So right now, me have Calvin and Atkinson as 2 no-brainer people. I'm going to say, even though I'm not as prolific as some of them other people, yeah, Nikolai Fuller for me, I see enough to say, yo, the youth, yeah, him have a future. I want to see him play in our national setup against some Trinidad, you know. I just want to see him in that system. Shanil Thomas for me, maybe not. I think if you ask him, he would say he would want more goals so far this season. But I'm putting him in the setup as well. Versatile, can play target, can play a little off the striker as well. So yeah, good versatility. I like it. So far, I have Calvin Atkinson, Nikolai Fuller, and Shanil Thomas. Now it get tricky, people. I think we need to look at a winger. We need to look at a winger, people. We have busy. We need to look at our next winger. So here are the winger options on this list that I have. We have a player that can play wing, but can play central in Daniel Green. We have Devante Campbell. We have Kimani Arboin, right? We have those players as wingers. And I think they fit the age as well. All those players, they fit the age. Then you have Ronaldo Biggs, another player that plays wide, right? That's another one. You have Okasa Chung, another player that can play central or wide. And you have Devon Davis as well, Messi. So there's a lot of players. There's a lot of players. Will Stephen McLaren be at the game? I think so. I think he will. I don't know for sure, but I think he will. So I have 4 players so far, people. Shanil Thomas, Jamara Calvin, Dwayne Atkinson, Nikolai Fuller. Warner Brown has been scoring a bag of goals, but I think he might be injured right now. So it's tough. Kimani Arboin, is he a bit too old for this squad for some people? I don't know. Bradford been on very good form. Not the oldest of players, people. Not the oldest of players. I think he's only, 24? Let me double check and make sure. Because he's been around a little bit, But I think he started playing pretty early. So, let's see. Yeah, he's 24. So, not terribly old. You know what I'm saying? Not terribly old. Devante Campbell, 21. So, he have good age. Raheem Edwards is only 22 as well. So, he's another one. So, do you just say we have to reward the Mount Pleasant boys and put Bradford and Edwards in the team? Let me know, people. Right now, I have Shanil Thomas, Calvin Atkinson, Nikolai Fuller. Do we reward some Mount Pleasant players? Bradford and Edwards the most prolific. Do you think it's better to pick one of Bradford or Edwards and put Devante Campbell? What about Daniel Green, people? Is Daniel Green past this time? Daniel Green is 27 years old now? So is it time to maybe look in another direction? Kimoni Bailey, 25. And if you had the option between him and Campbell, you're probably saying Campbell, right? At only 21. So yeah, Campbell and Edwards are the selections if you're looking at age predominantly. So yeah. In my honest opinion, who do I think is the best striker in the JPL? I would say it's between Calvin and my boy there from MoBay. I would say it's between Calvin and Thomas. I know Bygrave doing him thing. I know Bradford and Edwards been scoring as well. But yeah, for me, just overall strikers that I like the most, I would say it's Shanil Thomas and Calvin, and I would give Calvin the edge just because he's more prolific, you know, over time. He always get goals. Yeah, so Calvin for me. The striker that was at racing at Mount Pleasant now should be in. Yeah, Raheem Edwards, yeah, agree. Green and Bailey might be injured, that's true. What about Brian Brown? Him just mash up himself, bro. And him at 32. Oh, but yeah, ask me if he's the best. I wouldn't say him is the best, you know. I think he's in the top 5. But yeah, for me, I would say Calvin, then probably Thomas, then probably Edwards from Pleasant. I like him sharpness in the box. And then probably Warner Brown. But yeah, Brian Brown would I say probably 5th or 4th. Yeah, so I agree. I'm gonna go with Raheem Edwards and Devontae Campbell, you know, people. And you know, one of them, he has been good enough to warrant the selection, Raheem Edwards. The other one, Devontae Campbell, I think maybe other players would argue have been better, the likes of Arboy and even his teammate Bradford. But I feel like when I look at the makeup of the team, I already have a player like Bradford in the mix in Calvin and Thomas. And I just think those two players are better than Bradford. So, you know, I have that versatile striker already. Raheem Edwards will give me that true target up front, which maybe is lacking in this system and this team. But I think that will be my 6th forward. So, yeah, just to recap, people, this is the overall. Who is the best CDM in the JPL? Who is the overall 23? So Shaquan Davis, Roger Williams, Kemar Foster, Kyle Ming, Gadiel Irvin, Giovanni Leng, Richard King, Christopher Ainsworth, Stephen Young, Emilio Rosso, and Robino Garden. Midfielders, Joshan Anglin, Marlon Martin, Demario Phillips, Shamar Watson, Romeo Guthrie, and Nikhil Ellis. And then we have forward line, we have Raheem Edwards, Devontae Campbell, Shanil Thomas, Jalmara Calvin, Dwayne Atkinson, and Nikolai Fuller. So a lot of players miss out, people. No Ziminez, no Justin Dunn, no Ronaldo Biggs, no Daniel Green, they say he's injured, no Shaquille Bradford, no Owen Garden, little bit probably past the age prime. I think Warner Brown out as well, but I think injury will keep him out. No Andre Fletcher. So yeah, quite a few players left off for the team, people. No Messi Davis. Recently joining the Prem, doing really well. No Akasa Chang, doing well for a struggling Harbourview as well. So a lot of players there not there. So who is the best CDM in the JPL? I would say on current form, I would say it's probably 2 players. I would say it's probably Marlon Martin and Joshan Anglin currently are the 2 best CDMs in the JPL. Yeah. All right, people. So that is the segment of the local squad. Of course, you know that those games will be taking place February 6th and 9th. All right, people. So that was fun. That was nice to just go through some of the players in the JPL, see what type of young talent is there. Of course, you know, as we go through the season, we'll see more emerge as the schoolboy football tournament has just concluded. And a lot of these teams are bolstering their lineups with the cream of the crop from those age group teams. So that is that segment, people. Let's now move on to, for the final part of the show, the Reggae Boyz form, transfers, and injuries. Just wanted to go through some of the latest news. Can any one of them do a better job than Latibo there in the midfield for us? Well, that remains to be seen. You know, me personally, I don't think so. I think Latibo there, with all his deficiencies in midfield, still will do a better job than those players I just named. When you look at the overall aspect of things, I think, athletically, some of those players might give us a better shot, but it's not really a 4x100 race or even a marathon. It's football. So, positioning matters. Calmness under pressure matters. A lot of things matter, and I just feel like some of the things that Joel Latibo there does on a football pitch to help Jamaica are not really that glamorous, and so I think a lot of the things he does just go unnoticed that really matter in the games. But that's just my take on things there, Jamrock. Biggs, Calvin, and Bailey is the best right winger in Jamaica. Did I hear why they're not doing the camp anymore? I haven't heard any news of why there's no camp. I've just heard that there is none. I was wondering when they would, because there are basically fixtures all throughout in the Premier League. So I don't know when they would break from their teams. They have to get prepared for the games that they have to play. So I don't know. Laban says no need to worry about Latin midfield because we're getting players this year. Laban, I love your optimism, my bro. I hope you're right. All right, so let's just take a look now at some of the news that we know about some of the players. I did have some players on the thumbnail of today's video. I was just going to talk about why I put some of those players on the thumbnail. So the first one is there's a player from Derby County in the thumbnail today, and I want to discuss a little bit about him first and foremost. Now, this player is 19 years of age. He plays for Derby County in the championship, and his name is Dejan Brown. Now, Dejan Brown is a player that was rumored to have been involved in that under-23 camp that I think John Wall was going to be heading. He was one of the names on that list that we had seen, and I've been tracking him for a bit now since I've known about him. Shout out to, I forget the person that put that database together with all the players and everything. I can't remember. Sorry, the name is slipping me right now. But ever since I've seen that, I've really made it a point of mine to check up on a lot of these players that I saw named on those lists. If they have any ties to Jamaica, whether to their grandparent or their parent, they'll be on this list that was compiled, this database. So big ups to that person. I can't remember right now who did it, but yeah, that made me know about the player, and I've been looking ever since. So this is basically what he's been up to. He's, as I said, he's 19. He'll be 20 in October. He's 6 foot tall. Market value right at about 150k euros right now. And he's made 13 appearances in the championship, about half the games, has 1 goal in his 13 appearances. I believe he has 3 starts in the league as well. Has played 2 times in the Carabao Cup, starting one of those and getting an assist, and has played 1 game in Premier League 2 as well since the start of the season. Now, when you look at his detailed performance data, and let me get this on screen so you guys can see. Yes, I don't know why it's like they don't want this FA Cup game to have happened, but he recently, I remember going into the FA Cup, I was saying, I was talking about all the players, and I was saying, Dejan Brown, he definitely could get a chance to play from the start in this FA Cup game against Leyton Orient, and he did start and actually did score a goal as well in the first half. So big ups to Dejan Brown getting on the pitch and scoring. They did go down in penalties. By that time, he was substituted in the second half. They don't have the info here for it, but yes, he did play in that game and score. I have to pull it up on another thing to see that, to convince you guys if you don't believe me. But yes, he did score in that fixture. There we go. Yeah, so this is what Dejan has been up to this season in all competitions. As I said, 16 appearances in total, just 1 goal, 1 assist. So not going to tell you that he's been lighting up the world. But what I will say is he's a player that Derby definitely has put their faith in terms of making a lot of the match day squads in the first team. recently in this just concluded off season, he did get his first team contract signed and sealed, and he has a contract with them until 2027 June. So he's definitely a player that they'll want to see increase his market value, and hopefully they can, get a profit off of him down the road. He's a player that has come up right through the Derby youth system, has had one loan to the National League, which did take place in January of this past year, and he spent about 6 months there, or 4 months, 5 months there on loan until May, scoring having a decent loan spell there. I think he had like 6 goals, you'd say, in about 16 appearances in the National League. So yeah, just a player that I think that we need to keep an eye on. There are players that we call into our national team, who are even in a division lower, not really getting first team opportunities at all, and they're in the first team. So when we see, players out there, you see his citizenship marked as Jamaica. He was born in Nottingham, but I think he has made it quite clear from what I know that he definitely has his eyes set on representing the Reggae Boyz when he does get the call up. So not a player that I think you have to worry about in terms of commitment, or what are his thoughts, is he holding out, so when Steve McLaren makes statements like a lot of these young players, they really just need time to make up their minds and things of that nature. There are players out there, yes, I'm not going to lie to you and say we have these Premier League talents that are willing to play for Jamaica at 18, 19 and 20, but surely somebody that can make a bench in the championship and play half the games in the championship, even if it's off the bench, could at least be in the player pool, especially when you consider some of the recent call-ups to our forward line of late and where they are in their careers compared to this young man right here. And again, just signed a contract, what was it? In September 19, he was on a more of a youth academy type contract before. This is like his first team contract that he's receiving now, and it's a good size one as well until 2027. So that would put him in June 30, 2027, right at about what, 22? It's 2025 this year, October. Yeah, so he'll actually still be 21 when this contract is up. So I think the goal for him moving forward, he's in a team, Derby, that is pretty much struggling this season, right? So you would like to think that they are still searching for what would be the answers for their season to turn around. And, when you look at Derby's team right now and you look at the players that they are using, let's just look at the stats for Derby, actually. Make sure you guys are liking the video, people. I want to just give you guys some info on the team itself and just show you who's playing the role that he plays. Typically, this team sometimes plays 2 strikers, other times they'll play with a lone striker and 2 players off of the striker. But yeah, he's basically, if you look at the squad here, who's getting the bulk of the time on the pitch, who's scoring the most goals. Jerry Yates, the 28-year-old, typically is the man that starts. He has 6 goals on the season. Caden Jackson, another one who, when he comes off of the pitch, Caden Jackson, Dejan will look forward for him. Ebu Adams can play up front, but playing more in midfield as well. Nathaniel Leng, who you might know from CONCACAF, he is from Guatemala. He is sometimes the captain as well. He plays as well, only 2 goals, but making a ton of appearances this season. But yeah, nobody really lighting it up in terms of goal scoring. Jerry Yates, as I said, the main option up front. And when they do play the 2 striker system, I would love to think that Dejan Brown would be someone that they would look to if they want to get him more minutes on the pitch. So I'm going to be looking out for his second part of the season. And he's a player that I think we need to keep an eye on because, it can change very quickly in the championship. When you get on a run of form, teams start looking at you. I would think that his next move would be to solidify a first team starting spot in this Derby team. and then who knows after that if he can start to hit the goals. But I do think when you look at the profile of the player, 6 foot tall, good speed, good power, definitely could develop into someone the ilk of a Mikel Antonio in terms of his body type and his style of play. Definitely like a battering ram type of forward, but I do see the skill in there as well. The ability to change direction and get off a shot. Definitely something that I saw when I'm doing my research and looking at his highlights and stuff. As I said, still a ways to go in his development, but one that I think we should be looking at, because I don't think that there's any reason for me to believe that this player would not have his eyes solely set on Jamaica and the Reggae Boyz moving forward. Yes, Reggae Boyz Central, that is it. Big ups to them, bro. Big ups to them. He is top class, Jason. I think him and Archer could cover for a striker position. He matched the profile. Yeah, I think Javari, that's true about the profile. That's one of the things that I wanted to point out more than anything in this video. Not necessarily that he's the answer right now or today, but I just think that the way I see him play and his body type, he's definitely somebody that I think is tailor-made for the CONCACAF style in terms of your striker needing to be still fast enough to get behind defenses, but definitely strong enough to deal with the physicality of CONCACAF. And I think I see that in this player for sure. Jamaica need to also have a knockout competition with a lower level team going up against the JPL. What happened to the Jackie Bell? Yeah. That competition needs to come back. Why isn't there a cup competition? I think last year they had the Lynx Cup, but I think Lynx Cup is only the JPL teams. I think I don't even think the championship teams or tier 2 teams were in that. Just needs to fill out a bit. Yeah, he will. As I say, he's only 19, still growing, still developing. But I definitely see a lot of potential in him for sure. And I think it's one that we need to keep an eye on. So, Dajon Brown, big up yourself. I will be tracking your progress, young man. And hopefully one day, someone in the team can link up and maybe one day we'll get you on the program. See me? Yeah, man. Big up yourself and keep up the good work, youth. So, also on the thumbnail today, of course, it's probably old news by now. The player has also gotten a game in the championship as early as yesterday, and that is none other than Mr. Isaac Hayden. Isaac Hayden, people, he did secure a loan move to Pompey, that's Portsmouth, in the English Championship. And as I said, people, he made his first debut yesterday, coming on at halftime in a loss in the championship. They faced Blackburn yesterday, and they fell 3-0. So it was not the best of starts with the club for Isaac Hayden, but I think at this point he will just be thrilled to be running out on a pitch playing first team football. He himself even mentioned in some print articles that I read that he's definitely looking forward to the challenge that lies ahead with Jamaica, and he would love to get up to match fitness, as he knows he's physically fit, but he also knows that match fitness is totally different from physical fitness, and he knows that he has a little bit of ways to go. But he also said he knows his body very well, and it should not take too much time to get up to speed. And I agree with him, and I believe him, because he played USA with no match fitness and definitely looked like one of our better players. So just imagine getting an Isaac Hayden in that March window with 2 months of match playing under his belt. So hopefully he can stay fit in this whole time. I think that's the only thing really that could set him back at this point. I do think that in the position that Pompey is in the league, and just overall needing a boost and a change of fortune, I think he has joined them at a good time. And I think that he definitely will be used. Even if you look at this first game here, he didn't start the game, but there was an injury to Lane here that was like kind of playing a more attacking central role. And basically he was that sub at halftime. He came on, basically they pushed up Andre Dozel a little higher onto the pitch, and he came in and played that double pivot next to Potts. And he looked pretty decent in that 45 minutes. Of course, as I said, Blackburn was really dominating this fixture. So, not much he could have done. He did get off a shot that went over the bar. But this was his game by the numbers, people. 35 touches. I'm sure you would want his passing accuracy to be higher, 16 of 23, 70%. He only tried 2 long passes, was accurate on one of them. His one shot did go off target. As I said, he tried a dribble, was unsuccessful. Went into 9 ground duels, which we love to see, just getting involved. 5 of 9 completed on those, so not bad. 2 of 2 in the air, so that's good as well. He lost the ball 9 times out of his 35 touches. He would love to clean that up in his central midfield role for sure. Then we have 2 fouls committed by him. He made 5 tackles in just 45 minutes of play. He was dribble past once, and he had an interception and a clearance. So action-packed half of football there. As you can see, not the best attacking, but definitely held his own defensively. He would love to improve that one-time dribble pass, but with the match fitness, I'm sure he's going to see that from time to time. But I think he probably would have shown his manager that, yes, he's a player that I can use moving forward to kind of steady this ship in midfield. So yeah, we're going to keep on tracking you, Mr. Hayden. Keep up the good work. And as I said, the main focus for me as far as Isaac Hayden is concerned is that he can stay fit. That is a big, big concern for me. But he needs to stay fit, and that's all we really need to happen. That's definitely what we need from him. So hopefully that continues, people. We're going to keep on tracking. I think their next game should be this weekend. They should have another championship fixture. Let me just see. Yes, they'll take on Middlesbrough on the 18th, which is Saturday. They'll host them at 10 o'clock, so we'll definitely be checking around 9 o'clock or so to see when the lineups drop and see if he has forced his way into that starting team. Hopefully he can get the start. Maybe won't last the 90, but hopefully that 45 minutes from the first game can go up to 60, go up to 75, and then eventually he'll be able to play a full 90 for them. All right, so we'll keep on checking, and we will check back definitely to tell you what happened on the weekend. All right, so that's Isaac Hayden, people. Now next we have one more person on the thumbnail today that we wanted to talk about, and that is Ronaldo Cephas, people. And we got some terrible news out of Ankara Gucu about him, and I read a report on it yesterday. RJR News had a report about it, and I just wanted to go ahead and read that article for you guys, because we have had some good news on the transfer front for some players. Some players getting minutes, some players getting goals, but definitely it's always something with the Reggae Boyz. It can't always be good news, right? So we'll have some news that is not the best, especially knowing what type of level that he has been on lately. We've heard a lot of reports of where he's been playing lately for Ankara Gucu. He has been playing more central, and that is Ronaldo Cephas, of course. But where did the article go? Here we go. Yeah, sorry, I had it pulled up and it gone. And he had been scoring some goals of late and everything, playing more centrally, which is something that we were looking for the Reggae Boyz, knowing that we have some injury issues up front and some players maybe not on their best form in the striking position. And he had been coming up trumps. I mean, had a brace in the last game he played. Before, I think it was it the last game he played? Hold on, no, I don't think so actually, because they had a cup game after that, and he started that game. Well, he came on in that game. So yeah, his last game would have been on the 7th. So I'm assuming this is the game that it would have happened in. He played the full 90 minutes. I mean, not the full 90 minutes, but he played from the minute he came on till the end of the game in the 62nd minute. But yeah, let's just read the article real quick. So, Reggae boy Ronaldo Cephas has been sidelined by injury. Cephas, who plies his trade in the Turkish First Division with Ankara Gucu, suffered a torn meniscus in his knee last week. The 25-year-old former Arnett Gardens player had surgery this week and is expected to be out of action for close to 2 months. Cephas has been in fine form for Ankara Gucu this season, scoring 6 times in the league competition and twice in the Turkish Super Cup. So that is the bad news we got, people. Torn meniscus for Ronaldo Cephas. Not the best news to hear, especially knowing the type of form he had been on. You know, he had, as it said in the article, he had 6 goals and 2 in the cup. I would say about 5 or 6 of those 8 goals had come in like the last month or so. So definitely was hitting a good patch of form leading up to this injury, and definitely not good news for Ankara Gucu trying to work their way back to the Turkish Premier League next year. So, you know, when you look at the league right now, Ankara Gucu is currently in 9th, but literally 3 points would get them all the way up to 4th position. And, you know, I think it's like the top 7 that go into the qualification playoffs for that top round. So they are not far off from getting into the qualification playoffs. Of course, you know, there's some other news in the league as well for Reggae Boyz or past Reggae Boyz or potential Reggae Boyz, as Andre Gray, after playing for a short stint with Plymouth Argyle and Wayne Rooney, recently had his signature taken again. This time he's headed to Turkey, and he's going to be teammates with Reggae Boyz midfielder Daniel Johnson. Just trying to find the write-up on it here. Let's see. I know he had posted it himself. Was it on his IG? Hold on, people. I just want to show you guys on screen what's going on with him. Now, some of you, I've heard a lot about this player. You know, it's past his sell-by date and all these things. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's, to me, he still could offer something. The last time I saw him playing at Plymouth, he definitely looked a lot more fit, a little bit more spring in his step as well. And for some reason, I'm not seeing the transfer. Hold on, people. I'm trying to pull it up on screen for you guys to see. All right, here we go. Well, it's one of those things, you know. It's one of those things, you know, Jamrock, where it is the Turkish first division. That's what it's called, but they call the Turkish top division the Turkish Super League. So technically they're not wrong by saying it's the first division, but it's a clever way to make it seem like the league is the highest league. But yeah, technically they're not wrong, you know. It is the first division. That's what they call it in Turkey. But anyway, this is a little write-up on the Turkish side. Faith Karagumruk have confirmed the signing of Andre Gray just days after the forward was released by Plymouth Argyle. The former Burnley and QPR man spent 3 months this season with the championship side, but will now be playing in the Turkish second tier. So here's an article that's telling you yes, they could have said first division, but they call it second tier. Hurriyet, which is a publication out of Turkey, reported on confirmation from Faith that the Jamaican international has now been officially added to their squad ahead of the second half of the season. Faith are in the race for the promotion to the Super League and are currently second in the Trinidad League One table. It will be hoped the Gray's experience and goals will be beneficial to their aim of getting to the Turkish top tier. There are no reports of the length of contract the forward has signed with the Istanbul club. Brought in by Wayne Rooney as a free agent in October, Gray went on to make 13 appearances for Plymouth, scoring 3 goals. However, the 33-year-old only signed a short-term contract with the English side, taking him up to January, and this month he was released. So that is it right there, people. No news on how long he has signed for. Let me see if there's any news on transfer market and that, because that is kind of curious to me, if they just signed him till the end of the season or not. But let's see. So there's no news here either. It just says he signed on the 13th of January. Still has a market value right at 1 million. So yeah, this 33-year-old still coveted by people all over the world. And we are acting like he's too damaged to play for us, which is kind of weird to me because my one knock on him was I thought at times in his appearances, even for Jamaica, it seemed like he wasn't 100% based on how he was running. And as I said, I saw him play some games for Plymouth and he looked a lot better in terms of his quickness and sharpness and just overall ability to run. So, who knows? Let's just keep tracking how he does over there. As I said, he's on Daniel Johnson's team. They're second in the league, really fighting for promotion. So, they will want him to be somebody that can contribute and give them more goals. So I think he'll get chances, and that's it. And that's it. And we knew he was going to carry that form into the national team, which is what made the timing of his injury so terrible. Yeah, it really is bad timing for Cephas, bro. I'm telling you. Mothersill with 2 goals and an assist on Tuesday in the EFL trophy. Yes, I think Mothersill has proven that the EFL trophy is like his little beating stick, bro, because he has already won this title, being very, very effective and scoring a bag of goals in it. And I know they played Walsall the other day in it. And yeah, he got an 8.2 against Walsall. And yeah, did really well, scoring two goals and also getting an assist. So yeah, good result for him. As I said, he's basically like becoming a EFL trophy legend at this point, Malik Madasil. But yeah, Malik Madasil, another one that definitely we need to watch. He wasn't on my thumbnail today, but I think more people might know the name. That's why I wanted to shine a little light on Dajan Brown today as well, because I think he's one that's also maybe forgotten. Because I think a lot of times when we talk about recruiting these players, we get so caught up on what level they're at. But, you just have to watch them play and just see, like, can they really give us something that we need in the team? And, this is another one that I think could bring something to the table that we're missing. Malik Madasil is 21 now, 6'2", so a very tall player. Similar frame to like the likes of Alexander Isak, but, I think is stronger than maybe you would think in terms of like, just that wiry strength. But yeah, still think he could work on his strength as well. But I don't think he's quite as weak as maybe his frame would suggest. As you can see, 3 goals and an assist in the EFL trophy so far. And then when you look at what he's done in League One, the main league, the first team league, 6.77 rating, 24 appearances, starting 19 games, playing 74 minutes per game. So definitely night and day from last season, where if you look at his appearances in League One last year, when he first got to the team, only starting 8 games and playing a total of 22 out of a possible 46, whereas halfway pretty much through this season, played pretty much all the games, starting 19 of them. So you can see the progression, 7 goals on the season in the league with 4 assists as well. So definitely in terms of output in League One, a no-brainer for me. As I said, we have other players playing in League One, not as prolific, not starting as many games. So it just doesn't make sense to me that he's not even being in the conversation, especially knowing what I know behind the scenes about the player and what he would like to do in terms of playing for Jamaica. People were asking before, what's the league looking like in Turkey, where Daniel Johnson and now Andre Gray and also Cephas are. So this is it. There's Cephas team in 9th, but they're on 27 points. So a win or 2 get them right up into the top 7, which is where you want to be. Very similar to the Premier League in Jamaica. There's a playoffs at the end. I think basically how it works is the top 2 teams earn automatic promotion, and then 3rd through 7th go into like a promotion playoff setup. So that is how that works there. So yeah, that is what it looks like going into the rest of the season in Turkey. Again, there's some other players as well that I want to talk about. Player that recently made it to the Jamaica national team by way of some injuries, Corey Bennett. He was released by Las Vegas Lights, and he is now going to apply his trade in Kuwait in the Premier League over there for Al Nassr Kuwait. Al Nassr in Saudi, where we saw Damian Lowe face Cristiano Ronaldo. But this is actually in Kuwait, and I think we had one other player from Jamaica played here as well. The name is slipping me at the moment, but good move for him in terms of financially, I'm sure. The Middle East tends to take care of their players financially, maybe at a better rate than somewhere like the USL Championship where he was last year. So, yeah, I'm sure financially a good move for him. Now, some will argue, is this the best move for him in terms of playing for Jamaica? I would have to say probably not. But you have to do what you have to do, and you have to provide for your family. So Corey Bennett, big ups to you. It's not easy to secure contracts around the world, and you have been able to do so. So big up yourself and good luck. And who knows, if you do extremely well over there, maybe now that you're at least in the coach's mind, he will still be checking up on you, and you could still be in his plans moving forward at some point. So Corey Bennett, congrats to you getting over there. As I said, there were some other players that I wanted to just touch on briefly before we end the show. Again, please smash that like button, share, and subscribe. Junior Flemings does not play there, Javari. I thought I heard you say this the other day, but he's not in Kuwait, boss. He's in UAE. It's a totally different league. He plays for Ajman in UAE, and that is in the United Arab Emirates, right? So that is where he plies his trade at Ajman in the UAE. So yeah, it's a totally different league. They don't play in the same league. There might be a Al Nasser here as well, because I know there's a lot of Al Nassers out there, but no, there isn't. But yeah, no, it's a different league. They're just in a very, very similar part of the world. So I'm sure they might be able to link at some point. But yeah, it's not the same league, Javari. So yeah, it's a different league. Garden don't like the player, so I don't think he's going to call Andre Gray. Yeah, I wish the liking player thing would just go away, man. When a team gets wrong to the Turkish top tier, they will get rid of Gray. The player is washed up. He shouldn't be selected for Jamaica. So that's BM's thoughts on Andre Gray, people. Yeah, thank you. It was Romario Williams. I couldn't remember the name of the player. Any update on Ravel? No update other than what we already know, that Ravel Morrison is playing over there in what you call it there in at Precision. That's really all I could tell you about what Ravel is up to right now. He's over there in the UAE as well, but this is actually the third tier. So they have the UAE Pro League, they have UAE Division 1, and then he's in Division 2. So he's actually 2 levels below the league that Junior Flemings has been playing well in for Ajman. So Ravel is still there, to my knowledge. This is what Flemings has been up to in the UAE Pro League. Not really the worst level in the world, people, if I'm being honest. I've been able to watch a game or a few. I did see this game he played. I think it was on the 14th. Yeah, I got to see a big chunk of this one where he had a goal. But this is what he's been doing this season, people, and it's a follow-on from what he was doing before he left Serbia. 12 games played. He's made the team of the week 3 times in the league. He has 7 goals to no assists. So you'd like him to get some more assists, but 7 goals in his 12 appearances. Definitely doing his thing in the league this season. So yeah, he's also playing in the League Cup. So yeah, this is a recognized league. People can get his stats for it easily, even in the League Cup. You see, he started 2 games in the League Cup, no goals, no assists. But yeah, it's all there for you people. And if you look at his time before he left in the Superliga, this is what he did last season: 28 games played, 24 starts, 12 goals, and 2 assists. So definitely one of the better performing players. He's 29 years of age now, so some people might think, he's probably past his best. But look, man, at this point, you got to just pick the players that are playing, and he's playing damn good. I know there's a lot of people, but, it is what it is. BM doesn't agree with your Jamrock. He said there's no more talent. He's washed up. And the Turkish team will just use him up and dash him away. So, yeah. But I mean, look, that's why football is a game of opinions, and that is yours. So hey, I respect it, bro. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. But yeah, there's a number of players. I know that Damian Lowe, before I started doing a little bit more research before I got on, I watched him play the first half today. And my plan is to go back and watch the second half. It was 1-1 at halftime. So let's see how this one ended up. Damn, they went down 2-1 to Alok Dude, and it looks like he picked up a yellow in the second half because I watched the first and he didn't have one. So this is Damian Lowe's game by the numbers today. He got a yellow, 6.5. So not one of his higher scoring outputs today. That was his heat map. A lot of defending. 8 clearances. So that's typical. He's going to be involved around the back. 1 block shot, 3 interceptions. No tackles, no times dribble pass. He had 1 error leading to a shot. And he did commit another penalty in this one as well. Didn't see it, so I don't know. Maybe somebody that watched it could tell me how the play went. Let me actually see, because normally I can find it on just going on Twitter. Yeah, so it look like the only thing them really show about him when him fouled Ronaldo. So I don't see any clip of it here. Probably see it on YouTube later. But yeah, I will find out how that play went. But this was his game. 2 for 6 ground duels, 5 of 10 aerials. Touched the ball 73 times, lost the ball 12. Decent passing accuracy, 86%, not bad. He had 1 key pass. He was very accurate on his long passes, 7 for 9 on the day. And he tried 1 dribble and was successful. So, bit of an up and down game, had an error, committed a penalty as well. Probably kept his score down in the 6.5 range. But his team did go down 2-1. And he did concede the penalty. It looks like that caused them to get the win. Of course, interestingly, he was facing another CONCACAF keeper on the other team. That's Orlando Mosquera from Panama. You could remember him from playing against Jamaica the last few times. He got a big money move to the Saudi League this summer as well, after his exploits in the Copa America and Gold Cup and World Cup qualifying and whatnot. So, yeah, he played against a CONCACAF opponent today. And Chris Smalling also plays defense for the team he faced today as well. So quite a few players. But yeah, Sakala, the former, I think, Celtic striker, or Rangers, one of them, he was able to convert the penalty late in the game. And that foul was committed late by Damian Lowe to give up that penalty. So yeah, not the best outing for Lowe. Very, very active as usual, but I think his distribution very good. But it seems like defensively he had a bit of a struggle today. So yeah, giving up a penalty, not the best. So that's 2 games in a row, giving up a pen. Another yellow card as well. So Damian Lowe struggling with Alok Dude right now. I think Alok Dude week to week, just keep on getting closer and closer to that relegation zone. They're currently on 12 points, just outside of it on goal difference. But of course, Al-Weda and Al-Faya, who beat them today, were below them, definitely putting a dent and getting closer to them. The good thing, they have a -6 goal difference. Most of them around them have a much bigger goal difference. So that will be like an extra point as they get to the close of the season and try to avoid getting relegated to the second division. So yeah, that's Damian Lowe play today. Let me just check and see. When I go to football, who else is playing? So Ipswich and Brighton, I think Omar is still out. Southampton, hopefully we can see the likes of Cameron Archer get a start under this new manager. He hasn't really been starting, so let's see if that can change. Mexico, Brazil, League One, we have some action. Don't think any Reggae Boyz will feature there. India, Saudi Arabia. None of the other Jamaicans in the league playing today. 9-0 for Al Hilal. Wow. I think they're too good for the league, people. Thailand, Bahrain, Brazil. Games all over the place, people. Another player that's been in the news lately is Javan East. He's been going through it with Saprissa. Muffin has some words to say about Javan East, I think. But yeah, we'll be keeping track of what's the deal with Javan East. We know that he's a coveted piece over there in Costa Rica, so wouldn't be surprised if one of the other big guns over there don't try to scoop him up. But let's see what is in store for him moving forward. So yes, people, that's pretty much going to be it for today. We touched on a lot of players, a lot of different news, some transfers. Yeah. Jay Chalom. Yo, Chalom, as you're there, bro, give me a prediction for the last two games then, bro. I have every game except for the last two. Ipswich, Brighton, and Man U, Southampton. Let me know, Chalom. Paris is still, the last I checked, he was no longer with, where you call it there? He was no longer with Kiev. He's now at Saba. He's now at Saba FK. I think he went there on a permanent. And he has a contract there until 2028. His last fixture before the league broke would have been the 22nd of December. And I don't think that league over there in Azerbaijan start back until March. Actually, no. So it starts back this weekend. So they're back this coming Sunday. So we'll look out and see. But he hasn't really been, I mean, look, in the Premier League this season, I'll tell you what he's, let me see if they have his actual stats. I don't think okay, it's there. So he's playing decent this year, 6.99 overall rating. 10 played, 7 starts. He has 1 goal and 1 assist. He's playing about 63 minutes per game. So he's getting good minutes. He's 25 now. So, you know, he's in the Azerbaijan Premier League, at least the top league over there. And it's a league that you can look at stats and get information on, so you can keep track of him. But yeah, somebody that I thought would have kicked on more. I thought that Kiev move would have done more for him, but it really didn't have him kick on, and he never really forced his way into that Kiev team. BMC would rather call Flemmer over Gray. Prejudice against local band should stop. Yeah, I don't think it's a local band thing with Flemmer. I think it's an attitude thing. Cause even brother way live a local no want Flemmer in their team no more. Ravel team top the group and they will get promoted again. Well, yeah, he'll go to the next level, but it will still be 1 level below where Flemings is. Damian Nofisino starting 11 for Jamaica this year, says Javari. Gooner, what going on with Paris? I just answered that. All right, respect. 3-1 Brighton. And 3-0 Manure. All right, cool. Yes, Casey Palmer is injured. Yeah, man, the dog want to be a part of the show. I think she's ready to go outside now, cause yeah, about them time there. Jason, I have to tell you that I have the highest respect for you, bro. You're not like some other YouTubers. Someone has a different opinion. It's still fair to that. Yeah, bro, cause look, I'm not, I mean, I'll have my opinion and I'll be strong about it, but I know that everybody see the game different, you know what I mean? And it's different, you know, it's everybody's different, you know? What I try to do with my opinions is try to bring you reasons why I have the opinion. That's all. And as long as you can do the same for your opinions, then it can be a conversation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Palmer injured. The dog, trust me, the dog there for play. Damari played yesterday. I missed that one, you know. I was so busy watching Gunners. I hadn't even checked on Damari because I wasn't really planning on doing necessarily a form check of everybody on the show today. I just wanted to touch on some players that I just think we should really be thinking about because I'm trying to find players as well. But yeah, he played yesterday for Al Ettifaq. It won 3-0, but he didn't really do much in the game. He had a 6.3. Did he not start? Because I mean, damn, they scored 3 goals and that's all he did. So he played all 90 minutes. I mean, did he miss chances? What happened? 90 minutes, 31 touches, 2 key pass, 2 out of 6 crossing, 2 out of 6 dribbling, 16 ground duels and only 4-1. Okay. 13 times him lose the ball as well, almost half the time him touch it. And he committed 6 fouls. Damn. This man was fouling up a storm. 2 tackles and he was dribble past once. So yeah, nothing really attacking going on for him. He did have 2 key passes and he completed 2 crosses, had 2 successful dribbles. But yeah, the passing accuracy was good, but no shots on target, no shots off target. That's a bit strange, playing on the right-hand side yesterday. Looks like he switched over to the left for a part of the game as well, but predominantly down that right side, which is really, I think, his lesser effective side. I think he always plays better from that left side. So, yeah, just hasn't really kicked on this season with Aletifak, and they're not doing the greatest. I'm sure they would want to be higher in the table based on all the investment that they have made. But yeah, they are currently languishing down in 11th place in a 18-team league, only on 18 points. The leaders Al Hilal and Al Ittihad all the way on 40 points. So yeah, it's not been the best start to the season, and I'd be surprised if Gerard Last passed this season at all, if not getting sacked before. But yeah, Damari Gray definitely still one to look at in the transfer market. I just feel like he's really crying out for a move back to Europe. Hopefully, I think a Premier League team could use him. Maybe a relegation threatened side, even a lower to the middle table side could potentially use him currently. And even if that doesn't work out, I'm sure there's championship teams that could use the likes of a Damari Gray. Because I think at this point with Damari, it's just about match fitness, similar to with Isaac Hayden. You know what kind of player he can be when he's on it. Even though he can be effective, even not playing the most games as we've seen, because he wasn't really playing that much for Everton when he came the first time. So, he can still be effective. But the difference was at Everton, clearly, he was enjoying his football more, training harder, getting more challenged in training as well. So, I think that atmosphere of Europe is what's needed for him to get back on track. And hopefully, they can work something out to get him back this side of the continent, So, yeah, people, that is pretty much it. I'm not going to drag the show on anymore. We're almost at the 2.5 hour mark. And yeah, we will be back next week for another episode of Reasoning Time. As I said, this week was all about the Reggae Boyz. First and foremost, the big chunk of it was the JPL roundup of players trying to select a 23. We know that McLaren has not been here to watch. So we're trying to do a part of his job for him today. I will probably in the community tab or somewhere drop that 23 squad just so people can see it and leave their thoughts on it. So look out for that. And also, at the end of the show, we touched on some people we had on the thumbnail. Some about form, Dejan Brown getting a chance with the first team in the FA Cup, getting a goal. Just a bit about his profile as a player and why we should be looking at him as a future Reggae Boy striker. Also, we talked on Isaac Hayden securing his move to Portsmouth. As you know, walked into the team in November against the United States and had 2 good performances, basically virtually not playing any first team football anywhere. So we just want to see him continue to get game time since he's made the move. Got his first appearance yesterday off the bench, had an injury in the game to someone in their midfield. So hopefully this weekend we'll see him get a chance to start and stay fit coming into this March window and then further along into the summer when I'm sure we'll be looking to use him again. Then we also touched on Ronaldo Cephas. Bad news there. Bad news with his torn meniscus news. Definitely at least 2 months out, so not looking good for him to be available for the March window. Hopefully all of that will be behind him by the summer, because as I said, he was definitely making a good bit of development with his team, playing wide, playing central, playing both areas and scoring from both areas, looking to get improvements on his clinical nature in front of goal. Then we just went through a few more players, Malik Modasil and others, just talking about their form. We talked on Andre Gray getting his move to join Daniel Johnson in Turkey in the first division there. We also spoke a bit about Corey Bennett going to Kuwait. We also touched on Kahim Paris over in Azerbaijan. We also brought up, let's see, who else did we talk about? Damian Lowe playing today, Damari Gray yesterday in the Saudi Pro League. So yeah, we touched a lot today, people, and it was very enjoyable. As I said, it is time for Muffin to get some food. So I'm going to take her out, people. And yes, we had a nice long show. Again, I will drop in the comment section or the community tab, sorry, my 23-man squad that we went through and picked. I'll probably have to break it down into a few posts so that you can see all the names, but basically it will be defenders, goalkeepers, midfielders, forwards, and you can give your thoughts, drop any names you think were left out in the comment section as well. And yeah, man, thanks for everybody who tuned in and stuck around. I know a lot of you have been here from the beginning, so we greatly appreciate it for the marathon show. And big up on yourself, people. Remember, keep supporting the channel, Jason Gooner. You know, when I have time, I will be here. You know that I will come with some facts. I will come with some receipts. I will come after doing some research. I won't just turn on the camera and start talking. Never, never, never. So remember, people, thanks again for the support. We really appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, drop super chats, become a member of the channel. That's another way to support. One big up Pristine, who recently became a member. We greatly appreciate it. Yes, and you're doing much better this week. Ever clean one. Yeah, man, with Hayden at the 6 million, another striker to play up front with Boza. Finishing is one of our issue. Very true, Tuffy Rudy. Yeah, man, Tuffy, you're late to the party. The first hour and a half of the show, I would say, was all about the JPL local squad picking, the 23 players I think that should be picked, or I would pick, I would say. And we were very mindful of their ages. So some of the favorites might not have made it, but most of the time, you can just put that down to where they are in their career and their age, right? After that, we talked about some reggae boys around the world. As you saw in the thumbnail, I had Dajan Brown on there, Isaac Hayden. Also wanted to touch a bit about the other person on the thumbnail, and that was Ronaldo Cephas. Not the best news from Cephas, but at least we know it's a torn meniscus. Had the procedure. It's all about rehab now. Hopefully no longer than about 2 months, and he should be back at least training and getting ready. Because we definitely want him to get back some more game time before that summer window when the Reggae Boys have World Cup qualifiers, amongst other things to look forward to. All right, people. So big up and thanks again for the support. I am Jason Gooner. Are you watching the JPL? Just asking. Well, I don't watch the JPL as much as I watch other leagues for sure, but definitely I'd say I watch one game every week. And the games I don't watch, shout out to JamPL and JamPL Fan TV and BAM Sports. Between those two mainly, I will at least get to hear about the reviews and see highlights. And also big up to Knockins and MG and everybody else that gets the interviews. Based on all those things, that is how I keep up with it. How can I pick players? Well, I think I've seen most of the top teams that I think would have the bulk of the players I would want to pick in it. So yeah, I mean, obviously my 23 won't probably be close to what the actual 23 is, but you know, based on the ages that I know I would want to look at, I can do that. I mean, I've seen enough of these players play, for sure. Like all the players I've picked, I've seen more than twice play a match. So, I mean, yes, I don't watch every single game every single week. I don't know if you do, Jeremy Lee. And that's why I was saying, when I was doing this whole thing, I wanted to see the comment section as well. And those who were here, they did it. But you weren't here, so I don't know. But as I said, Jeremy Lee, I will drop in the community tab the 23 players that I think should get picked based on what I know of the players. And you can see how much of it you agree with, you know what I'm saying? And I do watch the JPL. I don't watch every single game, but I do watch the JPL. I have the Sportsmax app, so I watch the games that come on televised. And as I said, there are YouTubers out there that I follow and subscribe to, that I watch all of their content to keep up with the JPL. So, yeah, I mean, that's why I want to give them their credit. See, Jason, I want the best players to be picked. And my point is also for the coach, he's not there watching. Absolutely, Jeremy Lee. I agree totally that it's tough for the coach to not be there and then be tasked with picking a team. So, you know, it clearly won't be his team. You know, we saw Arnett Gardens and some of his staff in the crowd watching the game. So, you know, we pretty much know that Arnett will probably pick this 23 or however many it's going to be. And McLaren will evaluate the players that he's brought to him. So let's see. And I would argue that, you know, the way Arnett Gardens is busy with national team duties, coaching, evaluation duties, all of his duties, you know, if especially if Jamaica is out of camp, is probably when he'll have the chance to watch these games. You know, I know he spent a bulk of his time helping out with Gary Maceo this season because he's still a TD over there. So, you know, I mean, his time is used up as well. So, who is really the one that watches all of these games? I would love to know. I would love to know. I guess they just consult the coaches in the league as well, because some of them are national coaches too. So I guess it's a group effort. But yeah. Toffee Rudy, I doubt it's going to be that. And the reason why is because I don't think they want to spend a lot of money on this camp. And it's just going to be much more affordable for them to just use JPL players. Now, as I said earlier, there's a chance that maybe the younger players in these USL, MLS leagues could get released because maybe teams don't think that they're quite ready to be in the first team setup yet. But I don't know. I don't think that will happen. Remember, we saw the likes of Hibbert and a few others the last time. So I don't know. But I think this will be more JPL centric if I had to guess. But that's just my guess. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, people, you guys keep asking the good questions when we want done the show star. But people, that is it, That is it. Look back on the show. Jeremy Lee, if you have time, bro, we started the show with the JPL discussion. I went through all the teams. Basically had a pool of about 50 or 40. And then I whittled that down to 23. Right? And you can see if, based on that, if I watch enough JPL for you or not. All right? So, our national team must have a coach paying attention. But this coach always said, Meron told me about this and that. I agree totally. Jeremy Lee, remember, I was in the press conference and asked the man, what about John Russell? Because he had been playing so well. And the man said, yo, it's a friend of mine that live in that area where he plays that told me that I need to go back and watch him because he's been a revelation. And I'm saying to myself, why is it that a friend of yours have to tell you? And the man been playing good enough from like 2 windows before when I asked the question. And it's like he was oblivious. He didn't know. And he said, luckily he had a friend that is a Barnsley fan. So it's crazy, bro. All right, no problem, Jeremy. Makes sense. Yeah, man, watch the show off air, bro, because I went through the JPL players, and of course, my limitations of all the players is obvious, right? So the teams that I watched more and are maybe doing better in the league, I think the team is weighted towards them. Maybe unfairly, maybe not. But I think I have a good enough grasp for the players in the league to know who I would want to call, honestly. Toffee Rudy, that is the question that I don't know the answer to. And it's definitely, from what I've heard, there may not actually be any actual camp. It may be just a meeting up to go over maybe like a session or so and do some blackboard stuff, and then they'll play the game. But I don't know that if that's a fact or not. I just keep hearing that going around. I will get back to you on that. The coach has said he'll be looking in US and UK for players. Yeah, I know, Javari, but the problem is, will he be looking for the US and UK for players for these games in February, when most of those players won't be able to be available from their clubs? That's the problem, Because even though the MLS don't start yet, they'll be in the height of their preparations for the season. So any player that the coach really has wanting to use moving forward will probably be in the middle of those plans. Yeah, man, respect Jeremy Lee. Yeah, man. For whatever reason, you should become a member, but definitely only do it if you really think you want to, you know what I'm saying? So I like the fact that you say the way I engage would be a reason. That would be a very, very, that means a lot to me, because engagement of the fans is definitely what will grow your channel, whether organically, you know what I'm saying? I don't really try to be so sensational. I have opinions that I'm sure people don't like, but, the sensationalism ain't there. It is always try to be rooted in a convo and rooted in what I've gathered with my eyeballs or the stats or whatever information I can get. So hopefully that comes across every time I turn on the camera. All right, people, honestly, Muffin is going to use the bathroom in this room if I don't take her outside. So big up on yourself, people. Thanks so much again for tuning in. Make sure to smash the like button, share the content as well. I don't think people realize what I did today on the content. So hopefully the word can get out that I took a stab at picking the JPL team, and also had some news and some updates for some players that already currently play for the Reggae Boyz or are aspiring to play for the Reggae Boyz. All right, people. So big up on yourself. Thanks again for the support. And until next time, we're out of here. Remember, tonight, EPL review show, late night segment. Big up on yourself and thanks again. Bless. Muffin, say bye.